This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
Alright, what's up everybody? Open comms, Friday night. Dirk has power again. He's back. And I'm Drayden. We got Rain here. We got Blastum here. And we got Elo Knight back as well. How's it going, man?
What's up?
Alright. DC is not here. We actually don't know where he went.
We don't know where DC is.
DC? You DC, man?
We lost him in the Great Wide North. Hopefully he comes back.
I think he's all mad that they made a woman the head of the Mounties up there.
Oh my god.
maybe he's out getting wasted or something. Yeah, I don't know. He's either for it or he's against it. I don't know.
Oh my god.
It's kind of wild though.
I
didn't even know they let women into the Mounties.
I didn't even know, like, yeah.
That's so
that
terrible.
could happen. I thought it was
It was International Women's Day. What the fuck are you guys on about?
Well, it was. They get a day. They don't get to be promoted in a position
Dirk,
of
it's
authority.
about making women equals, therefore they can have terrible jobs too, okay?
Mountie
I
for
guess.
a day. I was gonna make a joke and I won't
But
even
why
say
does
it.
it sound weird when you say
won't
things?
even say it. But
Oh no.
maybe I should have.
But anyways, yeah, I'm back. I got power. It was kind of a semi-shitty 28 hours. It was also National Meatball Day. Exactly.
We should have celebrated. Like, what in the world?
Could have. If you had told us, we could have had like an
We could've
International
had
Women's
meatball
Day
sauce.
theme.
Okay, real quick question. How the hell does everyone know what, like, food day it is? Like, every single day, like, oh, it's National Steak Day. I'm like, the fuck?
Usually you should see it
When the fuck is a
trending on
steak
Twitter,
day?
but...
Although, what is it,
no,
Steak and a
it's-
BJ Day or something?
Yeah, there's that day, but there's this
Valentine's
cool thing
Day.
in the world, like, since it's 2018, there's the internet, and you can literally Google anything. So when it's a day, you just, like, Google, hey, what day is it, or whatever. And, like, it'll be on Twitter, it'll be on just Google. So that's
What's this
how people...
newfangled technology you're speaking of? I have no
Yeah,
idea.
really.
No,
You're
and
scaring me.
we live in a time where you can
I'm an
literally
old guy.
look anything up right
But
now.
see, that was International Women's Day. I think it was National Meatball Day. So it's like, depending on where you live, you may not have meatballs, let alone a day for them.
Wait. Oh, wait.
What
But
They're,
country
quite
does that
honestly,
have
every
meatballs?
every day is fucking Meatball Day.
they're saying Steak and BJ Day is March 14th. That's coming up soon.
Are you gonna celebrate, Drayden?
I wish. I know I'll get one of those
We can
things.
celebrate it.
Drayden.
Well,
I'm
I was
hoping-
gonna call- I'm doing a
Rating.
shot like right out of the gate. Yes, I still have vodka left over here
Great.
from when I was here a couple weeks ago. But given that tonight is like not a lot of topics that I need to like really focus on or anything like that, fuck it. Today's been one of those days where I just need a fucking shot.
I haven't got a shot glass yet.
You haven't got a shot glass?
Don't you have like
Yeah, neither do I, dude. I have a measuring
I
cup.
have-
I don't even
bunch,
wash
they're
mine
all-
out. I just leave it sitting here and like blow the dust out of it before a show.
I
Yeah.
do that as well sometimes, but I do wash them once in a while, and they're all in the dishwasher right now.
I just figure why should I wash when I'm pouring like vodka into? I mean, it's not like it's flavored vodka or anything. It's not like it gets all
I
sticky.
thought that
Get the Skittle vodka, dude. Make some Skittle vodka for the shot glass.
I used to think that as well, but I don't know. Like, you can get shit growing alcohol, I think, still. I don't know if it's certain alcohols. I think
You should make a.
I
Well,
don't-
alcohol lowers your or like weakens
Well, no,
your
no. I'm
immune
talking
system.
about like if you just leave it out too long. I think whiskey can get mold in it. I'm not even kidding.
That's
Well,
why.
that's 'cause
That's why when
the
I drink,
sugars.
I don't bang chicks that have things because your immune system gets fucked up.
Yeah.
Dirk, you should make toilet
Do
wine.
you
on
do
your
that
show, dude.
normally?
Every week you can check in on the toilet wine. Right?
I try to.
wine?
I try to avoid women that are dirty.
Yeah, man, make the toilet wine. The prison wine.
What the hell is that?
How the fuck?
Google it, dude. We can make some people all.
Oh, see, everything's about Googling now. Can't we just know things?
It's like you just put like some little bit of orange peels, a little bit of bread in a bag on your windowsill, and just a little ferment it for a while, prison style, and you just have at it, man.
Damn.
Fake Bob member says Origin is open as fuck. I'm not sure how to take that. I wonder if they're like, well, Elo's here 2 weeks in a row. Obviously, he's recruiting.
Well, I did fix it this week. It actually says Origin now. It's not.
It does, yeah. That's my name.
It's not Family Probes.
Thank God. I don't even. That was like a line that we weren't even in anymore either.
Yeah. That was like the opening line right out of the gate last week. It's like, all right, we got Elo from Family Probes. He's like, why is this from Family Probes? The fuck?
Yeah, I was
Origin's a corp though.
Yeah,
I know it's a corp.
Yeah.
Mine's a corp too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Rain's White Knight Social Club.
Wait, is Origin not part of an alliance, or
no? We haven't joined an alliance yet.
Or anything like that. You're just sort of out there. You know what? Okay, and this was the reason. Just so people know. Okay, like obviously I did not plan my power outage last week.
I don't be on open comms this week. Snip.
Yeah, I obviously didn't plan my power outage last week, so I had Elo coming on because I had seen that Elo looked as though he was back. Now there have been other times when Elo has looked as though he's back to EVE Online, and then boom, just vanishes.
Last time. That's why.
And Dark Wild from Wildly Inappropriate was also supposed to come on, but he also lost power last week, and I gave both of them the out. So I want to thank Elo for coming on last week and helping these people, talk and have a show and shit like that. I don't know how much you guys went into it last week, but one of the reasons why I wanted to have Elo on is because I'm interested to know what brought him back, what his plans are, and is he staying, or will we try to get him on next week and it'll be like, I fucking quit EVE again.
Oh, ouch. I would never be able to come back if I did that after all the things I've said, dude.
No, we did not ask him what brought him back. That was not something we got into.
We did. I thought we talked about the March changes.
I mean, we just kind of, it was March changes a little bit, and we touched on just a little bit. We didn't go in really deep topic about why philosophical reasons why you're back.
Well, a lot of the top people that are in my corp right now helping run it messaged me almost all at once. And they're like, "Are you coming back? Can we do something?" And it seems like we're doing something. We got like 40, 50 guys now in corp, so it's not bad. We're just fighting Pandemic Horde or Brave Newbies, whatever you want to call them, the little guys.
The great enemy.
Well, hold on. You're either fighting Pandemic Horde or you're fighting Brave Newbies.
They're all the same. You just turn over the rock and like 800 of them come out and you just fight them. Shaking for their lunch money. We just went with like 20 guys in 2 little fleets, and we did pretty good. It's okay. I don't think we even lost anything, to be honest with you.
Bloodbath 27 is asking, when does the patch come out? That was on Tuesday. This past Tuesday, it rolled, right?
Wait,
yeah?
The patch came out on Tuesday?
No. Is it next Tuesday? No, hold on. Wasn't it this past Tuesday?
No, I don't know when the patch comes out.
It's the 22nd.
They did something. They did something this Tuesday because that's when the servers are down and people are freaking out.
That was the chat the new chat.
The back end chat, yeah.
Yeah, the back end chat.
Oh wait, hold on. So that was March
6th.
No. Oh. I think it's on the 22nd.
Yeah, what they're doing.
The jump changes.
Yeah, what they're doing with the chat thing is they're
Wait, hold on. So Matterall died on a fucking bait fucking structure today, and it wasn't even because like the tether changes weren't even in effect yet.
Ouch. Matterall died on a bait.
Matterall lost a 20 billion ISK worth of ARC today.
Oh,
yeah. Apparently on a bait. I don't know if it was a bait Fortizar or a bait Astra up in Aruka. I believe it was Snuff.
That's something me and him have. That's something me and him have in common now. Dumb ARC losses.
Oh, that's not a good thing, dude.
Yeah, but yours wasn't like jumping to a structure in a system that had a station in it that he should have been jumping to. But whatever.
No, mine was jumping into high sec with a war deck character.
Yeah, well, you know what? In a lot of cases, you can make that.
But no. So the chat, really quick. The
comms open. Yeah, Horrendous. The comms are open, bro. Jump in here because I know they. Yeah.
Whoa! What's all this timeout? Jesus, everyone's getting timed out.
It's probably my corp members.
You know, I saw that. I saw that. I saw it the other day, and I can't tell if. Like all of a sudden, I'll see something where something comes up like multiple times, and I can't tell if that's something with our bot or if it's delayed in some way, and all of a sudden it just like starts hammering out multiple things at once. So I don't know. Whatever. I just trust the bot. The bot knows what it's doing.
They were all trying to do
No.
a Z-kill link, and it was just timing out it.
Oh,
Luckily, it was
you know
only
what?
for-
Here, let me
it was 10
find it because
yeah, it was-
Aerith posted it in Aerith posted it in Talking in Station's Discord today.
Yeah, it was only 10-second timeouts for everyone, so they should be all right. But yeah, the chat thing they were doing was they're separating the chat. I don't know a whole lot about protocols with chat, but they're changing it to XMPP. From what I hear, that's a superior protocol to use for chat services. But it's also they're taking it separate out of the. So
There's
it's,
the link, boys.
yeah, so it's not going to be part of the shard server or not shard the node servers or anything anymore. It's gonna be like this separate entity, so it doesn't have to run their server CPU power to run the chat.
Thank you, Riza for Shiza.
Riza for
11 months in a row.
Riza for
Yeah.
Shiza, not Riza
Riza
for
for
Shiza.
Oh my god.
You gotta get into
Nizza?
the gang. The
Yeah,
gang.
thanks Riza.
My Niza.
But yeah, so they're and they did a
Nahiza.
test on it, and apparently there's a bunch of big problems. Like people are saying, like, oh, it only had a 200 character chat limit. They were just a bunch of stuff wasn't working. So everyone's like, oh, fail test, fail test. Like, I don't know. In my opinion, it's like that's the whole purpose of the test is find bugs like that. So in a way, it's kind of it's a failed implementation of the process itself, but the test was successful in finding a bunch of bugs. So I don't know. Take that as what you will. But yeah, that was on March 6th, which was, I'm guessing, was that Tuesday?
Well, okay, so all right, now I am
Maybe.
really fucking confused because what exactly was it? All right, so this the other stuff like the monitor and all that kind of that shit's coming later in the month.
Yeah, so the fatigue changes, the monitor. I thought all of that was coming later in the month. They didn't do one new patch release yet, have they? Is the monitor in game?
Well, I haven't checked because I'm not a coward FC who would
Do
fly
any of
one
you
of those
log
things.
in?
They're great. They're great.
Does nobody
So
log
shit's
in?
fine.
I'm not an
I'll-
FC.
I'm on logged in. I'll log in.
No, I logged in. It's not a matter of logging in. It's a matter if you logged in and then saw the
No, it's not
effects of
there
those
yet.
things or,
It's on the
or something
22nd,
like
I'm
that.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
Is it, okay,
shit,
so
let me
all right,
get
so
hold
it's
of it.
late.
There it is.
So it's late this month. Okay, all right, fine,
Yeah.
fine. Hey, look, if you're gonna jump to structures and shit out there, you still have your tether on jump in. So if you're gonna be
If-
moving anywhere or
if you're able to dock.
migrating across Eve, you still got time. I thought it was earlier in the month. That's why I was so confused about.
I thought they never officially announced it.
Yeah, they're saying
Gee,
that it
now I'm
still
going to
doesn't, still
fish
doesn't
for
have
it.
a date for it. It's just supposed to be later.
I was told there were supposed to be pink skins with this patch, and I haven't
Soon.
heard about how to get those. So
It's
I'm
soon. TM.
anticipating that.
Yeah, the skins are gonna be pretty cool. Some of the new skins.
Are you gonna fly Doctrines with pink skins only?
I don't know. There's some mutant ones. There's a big cross on the top of the mutant, which is kind of nice. But he plays well.
Yeah. Mutant Fleet. I don't know. I like that some of the. I like it when they make changes that are going to cause ships that never get fucking used to start getting used again.
Yeah. Okay. Like even out on the Eve Online updates website, right? It goes from the February to what is it to winter 2018, where it talks about the heavy assault cruiser balance pass for some reason or another.
Yeah, there's no date for March yet.
No, and then it goes right to FanFest. So like they don't even have that updated for March's thing yet. I don't fucking know. I can't even tell with these people anymore.
Well, it's weird though. If it's supposed to be a March release and it's already March and they still don't have a release date, it's like you guys got a couple weeks. I mean,
Well, I mean it's only March
You got
9th. It's not like it's
yeah, but in 3 weeks, March
Yeah, but
is
usually
over.
they at least say when. They usually at least say when.
They usually do say when. I don't know. Maybe they're just gonna slip it in.
Yeah, they usually do them on a Tuesday or a Thursday, right?
It's
So,
Tuesdays, yeah.
Yeah, Tuesday.
March
Yeah.
will be winter.
Yeah, no.
That's why when they
last update's
announce
February 13th, so the update should come around March 20th. So that sounds about right. So that'd be a week from Tuesday.
I mean, that's what threw me off is when they announced the other, that they were having the extended downtime tomorrow and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, it was only supposed to be like 30 minutes or something. I'm like, okay, that's normal. That's normal kind of release day sort of thing. But whatever.
Yeah, then the server blew up late in the afternoon for a lot of people. So a lot of people.
Well,
go
well,
Did
outside.
they
well, that
say
was
why
different.
that
That was
was?
something.
That was
that
something different. Yeah, I don't know why, but I saw it was down for like a good hour.
Yeah, but supposedly so was Blizzard's authentication system, and like there were a number of things. It sounded like maybe it was something coming out of London was an issue. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know the details.
Was that yesterday that you're talking about, or the day before? Because I think that was
just yesterday. The day before,
I think that was like all over the internet, because on that day, me and some friends were playing. We were playing some League, and my TeamSpeak crashed, and then League crashed for everyone, and like everyone was getting screwed out of games and stuff. And then so I think that was something. Not everything on the internet was down, because I went to YouTube to test it. YouTube worked fine, so I think it was just something blew up that caused a bunch of internet pathways to go down.
Always works, dude.
Yeah,
did somebody just put this into the show notes? Big Q, when is the March release? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
That was me.
Like, did you just put that in there now?
No, I've had that. I had that in there earlier.
It's a big topic. We're gonna get to that.
You can tell it's me because I type in all caps, so that's how you can tell it's me.
Well, it's not. It's in.
That was me. It wasn't. Oh.
It's in title case. Well,
okay. Well, the one below it, the one below it that says Rain Circle in all caps.
Yeah, I see that one. Hey, look, you know what? I'm gonna do a shot again, because fuck it, why not? We're gonna do a shout out to Eve University, who has an upcoming birthday. This is going to be their 14 years, I believe it is. They are 1 year behind Eve Online itself.
Oh, March 15th. Never mind.
Yep. So on March 15th, so 6 days, or wherever the hell you are right now and accounting, whatever, March 15th. Yeah. That's kind of cool. I mean, Eve University. I mean, really. Oh, look! Hey, look! It's Kander Cole out there from Eve Uni. So this is a shot for them. Look, they've obviously done a lot of good work with the pilots that have passed through there. But also, I mean, if you haven't Googled something out there that you're looking for information on and come across an Eve Uni wiki page or something like that. They've done a lot of work that has really benefited a lot of players in this game over, my God, a long fucking period of time. 14 years since they, and of course it's gone through, changes, who's involved with it and all that, but that's really cool. So here, shot of fucking Tito's to you.
Shots. So for any new players watching, definitely join Eve Uni if you have no idea where else to go. They're a nice, safe starting point.
What do you got there? Was that Grey Goose?
Yeah. Arendis asks, Dirk, since you weren't here last week, how do you feel about the massive balance changes to the Ferox that'll force everyone to change one whole module?
Oh, Lord.
What was really funny was there was an article out there. I can't remember if it was Rock Paper Shotgun. It was Brendan Drain, wherever Brendan writes for, and I always forget where that is. He's like, big balance changes coming, and there were definitely some balance changes coming, but the Ferox, I'm not sure was. I'm not sure it was one of them.
I thought it was.
No, big.
Oh, big, yeah. Okay. No, that was like a small.
I think the Mercurial
change
was was a big change, and we'll have some
Was
repercussions
it
out there. The Garmer change.
Or I think it was Orthus.
Yeah, but yeah.
And a Mercurial change too.
Yeah, so I said the Mercurial change is the one that probably has the sort of the biggest effects on whether or not people continue to use that. But...
Are you guys all wearing your Open Com shirts?
Yeah.
I don't know what Drayden's wearing.
Drayden just changed to his.
Oh, did he?
No, I went to get. No, I've been in this the whole time. I just went to get a shot glass.
He sleeps in that, dude. He sleeps in that bad boy.
No,
I'd be a little fucking gay if he went and changed.
No,
it's one thing that we all decided to wear the same thing tonight, but
no, you can check the
What are you wearing, Rain? Are you wearing a movie shirt up on you?
Dirk, what are your thoughts on last week's power grid changes IRL?
Yeah. Power grid fucking I got nuded the fuck out last week.
Are these the
the worst part? Hold on, the worst part is I continue to drive down the fucking road and there's literally one tree it is laying on the fucking power lines, okay? And another tree laying on that. And we got another snowstorm here a couple days ago, and I said I ran out. I stocked up. I'm like, we're totally gonna lose fucking power. We were supposed to get like a foot of wet snow, and and it turned out that we got like 5 inches. Everybody always overpromises on size and shit, but but these fucking trees are still laying on this shit. And I'm sitting there going, even when they come to just get rid of those trees, we're gonna lose power.
Yeah, because I'll have to turn it off.
But I was really kind of fucking sweating it this week. I don't know.
Why
I
don't
gotta
you
deal
just
with fucking
get some
Pennsylvania
rope and
Power
like
late
hook
and-
it to the back of a truck and just pull those trees off yourself?
Where's your chainsaw, dude?
Yeah.
Dude, look, if
Yeah,
it wasn't
Dirk.
That's
literally
what you
laying
do.
on the fucking power
The
lines.
power's obviously off. You can't turn the lights on in your house.
The,
Just
wor-
chop it down,
the worst part is the dude who owns the fucking property there. He's got nothing but a bunch of trees out in the front of his property that are all like totally not fucking. I want to go burn every fucking tree down. I want to go douse every tree he has in fucking gasoline and just burn them the fuck down, because I cannot stand motherfuckers that do not take care of their goddamn property and shit like that. And then next thing you know, boom, power's out in the whole fucking area because some jackass, let the termites get to his fucking tree or whatever, and then just expected the power company to come deal with it.
Well,
Fucking
Usually
hate pours.
usually they'll trim. They'll trim branches, and like whether you own the property or not, you can't tell the power company they can't trim them because it's a safety
No, you
hazard
can't.
for the.
Although if you live in a rich community, okay, so all right, so where I used to live up
Are
in
you in a
fucking
poor
Connecticut,
community or rich community?
well, where I used to live up in Connecticut, all right, it was like the street I grew up on and shit like that. Trees were like you'd look down the street and you'd see this big, beautiful, like 80-year-old maple tree that had like fucking half the limbs on it, the half away from the power lines. Okay. Like that's the way it was all the way up the fucking street. They did not fucking give a shit. All right. Where I worked, okay, in New Canaan, Connecticut, where David Letterman lives and like, people like that.
Oh, now we're named.
Literally fucking like branches could just be hanging on a fucking tree going, what up? What up? Because everybody there is like, do not cut my motherfucking tree. But if the wind blew in that town, power would go out, but they didn't give a shit. Because
Hey,
they were
Dirk.
rich.
Dirk, for E-Vegas this year, can we get Open Comms branded Strappy Boys?
Now, if I
Branded
tell you I know what a
Strappy
strappy
Boys.
boy is, I'll probably look bad for that, right? But I don't know what a strappy boy
I don't
is.
either.
Do I need to Google that?
What is a strappy boy?
You're gonna have to explain that one for the rest of us.
No, I think Liara in chat can actually
Don't make
type
me
out for
Google
us.
it.
Google Strappy Boys. Who would win? Open Comms
Oh.
cast or one Strappy Boy?
I'm not going to. I'm not going to Google
Braden's
strappy
doing
boy
right now.
because I
You just
can't
saw
even
the
imagine
Google
what
pop
might
up
come
on the
up.
screen, the white screen. He's doing it. He just popped up the white on
He's
his
doing
face.
it. Braden.
It-
Strappy
No,
Yes.
excuse me, I'm not a rich
It
boy.
came
I
up with,
grew
like,
up in a
women's
town
shoes.
next to a bunch of other fucking rich towns.
Yes.
That's a woman's shoe.
The
And nothing was
woman's
more
shoe.
annoying than those towns. As far as like nobody cut their trees back. Nobody gave a shit about. You know why? Because they told their fucking power company don't fucking cut them back. But around here, you know what? I'm sorry. I live out. Now I live out in kind of a. It's not. I don't want to call it suburban. It's a little bit past suburbia. And now it just pisses me off when people let their fucking trees get out over that, because then I lose power. And what was worse was I didn't lose internet, though. I fucking had internet. But of course, my router takes power, and I only had about, I think it was 2 hours on battery backup for that, and it just wouldn't last.
You should get a crank generator, dude.
Every time I think about getting a fucking generator, like, buying a generator and buying a snowblower are kind of the same two things. Or buying a snowmobile or something like that. If you
What
buy a
about a
brand new
flamethrower?
snowmobile or a
None of those are the
snowblower,
same.
it will not snow for the next 3 years. Okay?
They call it
it
insurance,
just
dude.
won't fucking happen. All right? And like, if I buy a generator, maybe that means that for 5 years, we'll never lose power again. Not that we lose
Should
power
do
here
it,
very
Dirk.
often.
You do it, and they get the power company to pay you.
Yeah, no, I know. But that's exactly what it is. Like, if you invest money in, like, things like that, like, the thing you bought it for, like, never happens again.
Drayden, you're terrible at Google.
Well, I just
See,
typed
horrendous.
in
I got a
Strappy Boys.
generator right before Sandy.
Just type in
See, that's
Strappy
really
Boy
good
lube.
forward thinking.
Yeah, and it's like, did you mean strappy boots? Strappy bras?
No, Strappy Boy.
She
Press,
me
I
says,
feel
tell
lucky.
Elo to comb his hair. You know what? I don't know. No, see, I don't think it's a matter. Like, now, mind you, I haven't seen Elo in a few years, okay?
Yeah, dude.
And like, the last picture I saw of him was when he was, like, several years younger and whatnot. But I came in here tonight, he, like, popped up on Skype, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like Elo. What did I say? Elo Presley.
Elo Presley.
Yeah, dude. My Discord picture is me. I'm a selfie. That's the dream. You gotta do that when you're in my corp.
But what I will say is this: is that I lost power. It was very localized, obviously. Where people lost power and shit like that. Because the next morning, I got up and went to the fucking diner and whatnot. Went to the first fucking diner and it was so goddamn packed full of people. It was like a goddamn refugee camp of people who from neighboring areas who were getting away from the fact that they didn't have any power and shit. I'm like, all right, we can travel further than this. But the supermarket was open, Dunkin' Donuts was open, fucking restaurants and shit were open. It wasn't like we weren't Puerto Rico or anything. Although I do want to say, my brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico, I understand your plight. After 28 hours of no fucking power, I can tell what you're going through. Except I had snow.
And you're
I feel like you're really exploiting your privilege there.
I was say
no, I'm just saying. It's
your
I understand what they're going through, but I had snow.
Your buildings were mostly intact as well.
Yeah.
Well, we had wind. I mean, there were people that, lost some roof shingles and stuff like that. But you know what? It's just...
Did you lose roofs altogether?
But see, I live in civilization. I don't live on a fucking tropical island. So it's I don't expect this kind of
thing. Why don't you have power for a whole day
then? Yeah, well, I mean...
Civilized people have generators.
And then I had my daughter come to me and she wanted to charge her iPhone off of the battery backup for my computer and whatnot. Okay, so I did it one time, all right, and then 2 hours later she came back and wanted to charge it again. I'm like,
Dirk, this is why you don't get iPhones.
You're out of your fucking mind. I'm like, if you abuse the battery when we have no electricity, that's fucking on you. Now suffer.
Dirk, this is why you don't get iPhones.
Forget iPhones. I mean, it's just whatever handheld fucking device.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Puerto Rico isn't civilization. I mean, yeah, the resorts have got the airport. Well,
I was in San Juan last year.
Jesus, Dirk.
But it is. I mean, it's a fucking tropical island. I imagine they lose power down there.
Yeah, I was in
paradise,
San Juan.
Man.
I don't know. I was in San Juan last January. It's nice, but I don't think I got far enough out of the harbor tourist area to see the rest of it.
All right, we're gonna get back to fucking Eve here before shit gets really fucking over. Hey, look, I have a really, really, really fucking sad announcement to make here, and that is that as of right now, EveMon is losing its development support. For people who know, EveMon was created years and years and years ago, and got us through the dark times of skill plan training and things like that. But then the person who actually created it got out of it and whatnot, but made it public, made the code public for it and everything. And then somebody took it over, but now that person is finding that this conversion over to the new ESI, the replacement for API, and shit like that is he just can't do it. He can't devote the amount of time that it will take to convert that over, and he is basically saying, I'm out. I'm really sorry. He says, I'm really sorry. And you know what? I gotta say, from this Reddit post, it seems as though he is legitimately I'm sorry that I can't keep this thing going, but it is an incredible amount of work. And hello, CCP Carker and Little Things. Guess what? This is not quite a little thing, but this is something like the ghost fittings shit and whatnot. This should exist in EVE Online. It just should.
Well, I mean, with the skill... Oh, because, something where you can add skills you're saying, you don't have them injected and, check all stuff like that.
Where you can sit there and come up with an optimized, optimized remap, all that kind of stuff.
Ghost fitting tool, ghost training tool. Make it along the same lines.
That has negative connotation, though. But I
read this saying Eve HQ is not a terrible replacement. It's like an EveMon EFT combo. I thought Eve HQ had actually gone through a period like this where it was being. In fact, I thought Eve HQ actually died. Or no, was that fucking like Eve Commander or something like that?
No, it was the one that I used way back. It was like a fitting tool and a training tool and all that. And it had some market stuff on there as well, but I don't think it was Eve HQ. What was it?
Oh no, he's saying it's back again. Okay, he said it did, but it's back again.
It was Eve HQ.
Regardless, I mean, there are some things out there that I want to say become so ubiquitous to EVE Online as far as a third-party thing goes, and especially one where it's not like somebody's trying to claim fucking ownership of it. They put this, look, build this shit in EVE Online, and I know that will take some developer time. I'm not even sure which developer it would take. It won't be Guard, but
Guard's not a developer.
No, I know that. Okay, but
He's
wow.
not. He's a community guy.
Guard is now really upset that you're not calling him a dev, that you're calling him
He
just
develops
He's a
community guy.
community guy. Yeah.
He develops
okay,
the
okay.
community.
He develops the community. He does not do programming. How about that?
But this is something that really should look. They sat there and they basically mimicked a lot, not everything that EFT does, right? But they created the whole ghost fittings tool and things like that, so that you could simulate, your fittings in the game and shit. Absolutely fucking brilliant. Certainly for not necessarily for every theory crafter out there who wants to get into the deep down, dark and dirty of these things, but for the average player out there to be able to use does this fit instead of going and either buying or pulling out of their freaking hanger or whatever the mods to try and fit them and shit like that, they could do it. This is kind of the same thing that I really think that they need to do with skill training, because I mean skill training is still such a big part of EVE Online.
EveMon was like the first third-party app that I found from, was it Battle Clinic way back in the day when that was still up and running?
Yeah, Battle Clinic
That's
for the
where I
classic.
found EveMon.
It was definitely the
years
second
ago.
third-party app that I got. Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of disappointing to see. And maybe somebody can take it over. I mean, there was kind of a call out.
The only thing
there's
bigger
open
I would
source,
say
right?
is probably
So
like Dotland.
Yeah, I mean it's open source, so if he gives that away, and I think it's on GitHub, so
Yep.
Maybe else somebody can pick it up for whatever duration's left before the API changeover, or the whole changeover. I don't know how that's going to take place. I'm not a developer. I'm not a software guy, but I used it and I still have it sitting on my desktop. I know when my account expires. More than anything else, then it just alerts me that I don't have any training and going on, and I got 3 characters I got to log in and train. So yeah,
this will be an interesting topic because next Sunday on Talking in Stations, we've got a couple of the guys from the team at CCP who are
Dirk,
responsible.
are you betraying this show for your other show?
Oh.
No, I just bring the serious people
That's
on
a
that.
shameless plug.
Oh,
right
it's
there, eh?
serious people. That
That's
way
a-
I'm
No,
not invited.
It's
Dirk?
really look.
Talking in Stations is a side
0200 UTC. It's hard to get fucking human beings from Iceland onto this. But next Sunday on Talking in Stations, we do have the people on there from the team that are doing this whole from that. Yeah, that group, whatever. I don't even know. Look,
You don't
I'm
even
not
know
even
what
a
you're
fucking
talking
tech guy.
about,
No, I
Dirk.
don't. I'm not a fucking tech guy from that standpoint. What I do know is this, and it's why I scheduled to have them come in for a legitimate show, is because I think there are a lot of really.
Legitimate show. So
Well,
now we're not
no,
a
no.
legitimate show?
I didn't mean it in relation to this, but whatever. I want to have them come on because I'm really bothered by a number of things that are going on with what this conversion is going to allow for. And I've talked about it here before, that no longer is it just about the old school sort of fucking API thing and whatnot. You're going to have all this freaking write access stuff as well.
Do you
And,
want to?
so
I was gonna say,
I
do you
want to
wanna
talk to
touch
them
on those
about
again?
that. I want to talk to them about third-party development in general. And then there are all these other things that I think they can talk about why this is so important for the advancement of third-party developers and things like that. So that's next Sunday.
So open comms is fake news. Ask first camper.
No,
No,
it's not,
no,
it's
we're
not
not.
fake news.
No, it's just
Are you doing shots with what the fuck, Dirk?
I don't know. I'm just, whatever.
Dirk, we're a team. Live together, die together.
Then when I raise a fucking glass, have yours ready.
Oh shit.
You should just know.
I wasn't pre-forward.
Look, see, at least he's going GG over here. You know what I mean? He may not be able to get Tito's up in where are you, Yellowknife?
Me?
Yellowknife.
I went to bed.
Are you in Yellowknife?
Saskatchewan.
It's up in
Oh, no.
Crazy Horse.
Shots.
Shots.
Shots. Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty good show. I mean, hopefully I won't have to fucking participate a lot in it. Hopefully we'll get some people on there that know something about third-party development and stuff like that. I mean, there are so many good things that they're going to be able to do with this, but in the meantime, one of the problems it is creating is for developers of some long-term projects like Evemon. So I'll bring this up out there. These are things that have really benefited players in this game for a long, long, long time. Even though, right, they have added things like the lengthier skill queue and stuff like that, okay, which was something that back in the day you used to use Evemon for, right? When you could only put, up to like 24 hours worth of skills in there and shit like that. You would use Evemon to plan out longer, right?
Well, right,
because you couldn't even do it and move it around.
You could do it
Early
with also.
On, what I used.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying you could also use to where you could check like training times with implants in. You could check them with skills you didn't have injected because and that's still something. Those were like extra and above features though. When they put in the unlimited skill queue, basically at that point, okay, it's still limited. To like, you can only have like 50 skills in there, but
yeah,
it's only limited in terms of the total number of skills that you can put in. You can put in an unlimited number of time and shit like that.
But the thing with it right now is you still have to have the skills implanted to see the time on them. And if you don't have a prerequisite yet trained up to implant a certain skill, you can't put that in. And like, so there's still stuff that even with the unlimited skill queue that the Evemon and programs like that can give you that you can't do in Eve right now.
Right. So, again, I think that this is something that they being able to sit there and say, okay, look, this is your skill queue. This would be the optimal attribute setup for you for this skill queue. I've got to think that one little item right there would probably be somewhat simple for them to be able to do it. They do not have to recreate Evemon from the ground up, right? They could take certain key features of it since they've already put in things like the extended skill queue and stuff like that they don't need to recreate everything. They don't need to have little side features and whatnot. They don't need to, they don't necessarily need to have, but what if I used +4s instead of +3s? But once you go down the path of like doing ghost training, then not ghost training in the bad sense of the word. So we're going to have to like maybe come up with a different name of that.
Yeah, man, that sucks that people call
skill
it that,
planning.
'cause it would have been just a
skill planning.
Ghost skill planning.
Ghost skill planning. There we go.
Ghost.
I mean,
I
that's
think
what
you should be able to
I mean,
plot
I
out
would
your
optimize-
character's fucking education over time.
I mean, you could always plan out like for a year of those skills that you wanted to train for, with willpower and perception. So you had gunnery skills and your missile skills and your ship skills were those two attributes. So yeah, I think that was primarily the function of Evemon. A lot of the other things like when does your account expire? You don't have to have Evemon to figure out when your account expires, or that you don't have a skill queue. So there's other tools out there that can tell you when your account expires. But now you just need it to say, what will be my skills in 55 days instead of 80 days? So I think that's...
Now, what would be even better than them coming up with a ghost training simulator kind of a thing? And not ghost training simulator like you're going to like, simulate how you would ghost train like those dickheads did last year. But what would be even better is if they got rid of attributes altogether.
People have been saying that for a long time.
Just train at a set period of time, and you can augment that through different implants and stuff like that. That would be the best thing. And then they wouldn't have to come up with this whole fucking thing. We would just go to where we know that shit will eventually go, because people have been talking about this for years. Get rid of the fucking stupid attributes. Well, attributes don't mean anything in this game anymore. They really don't.
They've had it for so long.
Well, I'm really glad they got rid of learning skills. That was a big step, like the learning skills.
I was gonna say,
how long ago was that, Elo? I mean, that was like
ages ago,
like literally you were in high school at that fucking time.
I was gonna ask, how long were those in the game before they removed them? I know they got rid of them a long time ago, but actually, I think they got rid of them before I started playing. But were they in the game for like a year or two when they got rid of them, or were they around for 4 or 5 years?
Was that 2011? I mean, it was somewhere around there. 2011. I'm gonna say 2011. I'm just gonna may have been 2012. It may have been last year.
I think it was 2011, 2012, in that time frame they removed the learning skills. So yeah, the learning skills were there 2000.
Can y'all calm down?
6? 2005-ish, I think. That's when they
I
introduced
just like
them.
raised the ball. I actually did less of a shot there than I would have if it was a glass, but I raised the ball.
Yeah, same.
Because you're a man, dude.
Well, because if he's just gonna put the bottle up, I can't not do it.
Yeah,
It's Grey
dude.
Goose, Dirk. Like, you don't.
Goose is good. Grey Goose
Goose
is
is
Yeah,
good.
if you're a pussy.
I'll drink the
No, I mean
goose.
Grey Goose is good. I mean, like, I wouldn't
See,
drink it
I
because
drink
like
that in
it's
college,
French.
but then I upgraded a bit.
It's actually remarkably cheap here compared to where I used to buy.
Alcohol is super cheap. in
Orinda
college.
says they need. Orinda,
Like,
why
on
aren't
the
you coming
grand
in
scheme
for
of things.
comms? You can just like say this shit like live and stuff. They need to go back to the old system of attributes and learning skills where your race, ancestry, and school choices all of it. No, see, that is a formerly oppressive time of Eve when like your ancestry and race fucking like where
Well,
you went to school fucking
there was-
mattered about how intelligent you could be in the game.
Yeah.
There was
and
a
like
small. there
we're
was a-
never going back to that time.
There was a
This is
small
getting
time
dangerous.
though with the alphas. It actually mattered what race you picked because that determined what ships you could
Yeah,
fly. But now that
that's
doesn't matter
true.
anymore. So there
That
was
doesn't
that.
matter anymore.
What
yeah.
was that like a 6
We're
months
a
to a year
much more.
period?
We are a much more like just. Oh, man, we're a fucking global game, baby.
Why don't
Go
they
on.
just,
It's getting
lives
better all the
matter.
time.
why don't they just
Galente,
Someday
amalgamate
we'll
all the
just all
ships
be
into
the
like
same.
why don't they just amalgamate all the ships into like the exact same ship?
Why can't they take skill points from older players and give them to younger players?
Yeah, like one ship
Yeah,
to
you.
rule them all.
So it's
Why
so
can't you
unfair. The
tax
baby
skill
boomers
points
of
now?
Eve. The baby boomers of Eve got all the skill points and are just collecting them and hoarding them, and they had all these like BPOs and all this other wealth in the game, and us new alpha millennials of Eve can't even get that, and the wealth needs to be redistributed.
We need to have skill
Triggered.
point redistribution.
Agreed.
No,
Yeah.
because I have a lot
And
of them.
wealth redistribution. Dirk should not
Hell
be
no.
sitting
Yeah.
over
You
here.
didn't have
on
up my
200
skill
million
points?
skill
billion
points.
ISK and only
You'll
giving
pry
out
my
1 billion.
197 million skill points from my cold dead hands.
No filthy skill injecting player's gonna have my skill points. God damn it.
Over my
The only
cold,
thing
dead
holding
corpse
back
to
the
get my
tyranny
skill
of
points.
CCP are
Chizumi.
my skill points.
Chizumi trying to kick me out. Fuck you, Chizumi.
Damn.
Kick Rain and Dirk.
Triggered.
What
Look
would you
at
do
that.
then?
Can't kick us.
If I kick both of them, we're just drinking the rest of the night.
Anyways, all right. Back to Eve Online. Oh no, that was kind of like Eve Online, but we started
It
like
was
Eve
Eve
right there.
Online
Anyways,
in the future.
Eve Mon's gonna fucking die at some point. It's not going to make it past the whole thing with what's changing with the ESI and stuff like that. But yeah, I do want you guys all to listen. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you are indeed concerned about the fact of the changes that are coming, with this whole ESI API changeover and single server, login and all that kind of shit, tune in for that show on Talking in Stations, because I am going to bring up the idea that look, I've got a bit of a problem with just for authentication. All right, alliances and corporations and things like that, as part of just knowing who you are as a fucking player and whatnot,
So,
need to have
Lieutenant-
the ability to fucking write emails on your behalf or change
Lieutenant
your fucking
Dan
waypoints or whatever.
Just resubbed for 30 months, and he says, I demand no less than 12 swigs of goose. So I think that's a shot.
No less.
Damn.
No more. No less.
Shots.
I do have a problem with the security issue. So that's why I want to ask them at CCP, as far as the third-party developer rules go, if you just because I give you the authority just because I give you the authority in order to like get the token, right, that you're requiring me to fucking get to be in your alliance, does that also give you the authority to change it? Unless you you say it up front, this thing that gives us the authority to do this. Like, we don't need to do it right now, but maybe we'll do it in the future. We don't need to write an email on your behalf or delete your emails or delete your contacts or anything like that right now. But in the future, we might choose
they'll
to,
have
and
the
you've
power
given
to-
us that authority.
They'll have the power. I figured they'd have the power to look at your email stuff, but they'll have the power.
No,
if you give the right certificate, they can actually delete them.
No. And if you listen to what I'm saying, if you listen to what I said the last time, okay, what a number of these organizations out there are doing is they are asking for all the scopes, and all the scopes include this. And if you go back to a little demonstration that was actually put out on the fucking Jeff Rader show a couple of weeks ago. Okay, it shows just how easily, number one, while you're flying in space, somebody can reset your fucking destination, and number two, how they can send I believe it's send an email on your behalf and things like that, as well as fucking delete things and shit like that. So I'm all for you authorizing a third-party app to do the things that you should know that it is capable of doing. Like, for example, if I go to Zkillboard and put in my API right now, or my token, or okay, that it's going to read information in order to update that. I don't want them to have the ability to write something. See, there's read and write, correct? I was about ready to say
I thought they would have read-only access, not write
access.
Yes,
they would. But let's just say you're like, I don't know, dealing with an organization that says, hey, give us all these things if you want access to this right here. And one of those things happens to be change your contacts. But you are a normal Eve
Wouldn't
player.
You read
a
that,
normal
though?
Eve
like,
player,
would you
not
be able to see contacts write instead of contacts read?
Not always. There's some people who's like, oh, I'm supposed to do this and do this to sign up for the thing. Okay, yeah, click.
So you as a player have to take responsibility for a read versus write access, is what you're saying.
And now somebody out there is saying they can write, but they can't press send. Okay, then I'm not quite sure how that would work. However, there is editing of your contacts and things like that. Look, all I want to know is, are the people that ask for these particular scopes held to the same kind of third-party developer agreement that says, if you abuse this, you will lose your fucking rights to this entirely? Because that's what I want to fucking know. Just because I gave you a token, if you told me it was going to be used for X, Y, and Z, I don't want to hear you fucking ABC'd me on it too.
Yeah. Theed Inco just reset for 13 months.
The whole thing with abuse, with too much, with too much stuff out there, is I'm not worried about organizations that I'm a part of. I'm going to be honest. I'm not worried about them. I'm more worried about some of these organizations that you hear about out there that, are trying to get people in there and they're taxing the fucking,
someone
dick to
called
fucking
for
death.
Shots for Dirk for getting what is it? Power back from the tri-state area?
Yeah, that's Theed just reset.
Yeah, I hate calling this a tri-state area because it's really not a tri-state area. That's New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
3 states, Dirk.
But if you live in a place where 3 states connect to each other, then they end up calling that the tri-state area.
I mean, Washington, Oregon, Idaho is like the northwest tri-state, but we don't call it that.
I'm really close to 4 states.
On top of all this, kind of negativity I have towards this stuff, there are some really good fucking things out there that I think that this new system is going to allow for. It's going to allow for better third-party apps and shit like that.
Oh yeah, it'll allow.
We as users just have to know what we're signing up for, what these folks may be allowed to use, going forward. And I know that there are people out there who can be like, this has existed since 2014. That's right. Yes, it has. Except for, guess what? I would have had to have signed up for that in a different way than I did for just authing into this particular organization. Okay? And that is what a lot of these organizations out there, whether they be corps or alliances, are now asking for. Give us all the scopes. This is not a give us everything API read-only thing. This is something different. So we're going to talk about that and a lot more. But I do want to go on to, do we have anything to say about fucking Burn Jita? I gotta be honest, after so many years of fucking Burn Jita,
what was that?
Was it a success or was it a failure?
Salty Tears.
Wait,
it was another year.
Tears was a success?
Oh, Shooter McLoads
subbed.
Tier 1 sub. Oh, shit, that's the $25 sub, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Nice.
I think so, that's the Tier 1.
Tier 1 sounds low.
Oh, wait, is it Tier 1? I don't know.
Is Tier 1 good or is Tier 1 bad?
Do you start with 1 and go?
Are you a Tier 1 operator or a Tier 5 operator?
Do you start with 1 and go to 3, or do you start with 3 and go up to 1? I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it the first step or third place? Like, which way does it start?
Now, Shooter's gonna respond in chat. Dude, I just responded with $100 million.
Oh, he said low rent, so okay, that's the first step. All right, well, thank you for the sub, Shooter.
Yeah, I think Burn Jita was a success, and there was that one really.
Of course, it was a success. It was 700
that was that
billion.
Post, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say we have to bring up the forum post of the guy that's like, listed all the people on his Orca kill mail, and he's like, I
That he was
expect
gonna-
all of
That's
you.
a different one. We'll get to that.
Oh.
As bots. He was
Was
saying
that the
they were
dude
bots.
with? Was that the dude with the B
Well,
name
we're
like
gonna get
20
to that
different
now.
times?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So basically, he lost his fucking Orca and shit, and was pulling the age-old thing of, if you don't, compensate me for my fucking loss, I'm going to report all of you as fucking bots. Now, number one, we've had a discussion regarding team security and fucking botting and all that kind of stuff multiple times here, and it's like, look, this is the whole thing. Number one, this guy has put out there, if I'm not compensated for something that's allowed in this game, I'm going to report you all as bots. Therefore, CCP's thing should be, if you report all these people as bots, you are abusing the report a bot feature.
And you get banned or punished somehow. Yeah, exactly. And he's basically self-admitting it too. I just loved it. I was like, you have 24 hours, and I forget exactly the wording, but the bottom it's like, the time starts now, ... or some shit.
I've
like,
got my
some
clock
shit
ticking.
Like
I've got my North Korean iPhone clock ticking.
I was like, this is
Or
like a
whatever
Hans
Hungarian
Gruber
city he
demand or
was from.
something.
Hungarian city, damn.
I know, I'm just fucking like with every country at that point.
Damn, Puerto Rico, then Hungary, man, holy shit.
Well, Puerto Rico's like, it's kind of my own country.
They're the 51st state, Dirk. You gotta respect
No,
them.
the
They're America
51st
too.
state. Canada's the
They
51st
voted
fucking
to
state.
be the 51st state. No, Canada's like 7 different states, okay? They can't be the 51st.
All right, so they're 51, attack 58. I mean, it's like...
Puerto Rico, 51st.
They voted to be a state of America, yeah, in the last
They want to
election.
be because
Actually,
then they
no,
get a
the
bunch
last
of-
time I
Yeah,
think they
they're the
voted...
51st
Actually, I think the
state.
last time they voted, it was just chill and be like who they are.
until they got into like the financial.
And then
shit
the
in their
hurricane
country.
happened, and they all said, "Can we be a state?"
No, it was before the hurricane.
That's not how states work.
They actually tried to file Chapter 11 as a nation to the U.S.
As
The
a
US
nation.
denied them. Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
they were so financially fucked that they tried to file Chapter 11, and the U.S. is like, no, you can't do that. And like all the
Wait,
skilled
Chapter
work-
11 what?
like bankruptcy
What?
or something, because
Not
they,
Chapter 11 of
I
a Tom
was-
Clancy novel.
I was
Yeah.
really like,
And so like,
Okay,
but
okay.
because there's no money there and all that stuff, like all the skilled workers, like all the
I
doctors
mean,
and
there's no
lawyers are
money in
leaving.
Puerto Rico. They have coffee, Drayden.
No, they have
America runs
rum.
on
poor.
coffee.
They are so
They don't
poor.
have fucking coffee. It's Jamaica.
It's because they sold
No,
a shit
Jamaica
of
Jamaica
bonds.
is the, like.
The reason they got in such
And,
big shit is they
Jamaica's got coffee and rum.
they sold
Fucking
all.
Puerto Rico's literally got like a couple
Puerto
resorts
Rico
that
is
Americans
coffee.
don't
If
go
you
to.
go
And
to
then...
Puerto Rico and you don't bring back some Puerto Rican coffee, you're a pleb.
Right, but it's not enough coffee to make their country. But the thing is, they
Why?
sold so
Why
many
would I go to
bonds.
Puerto Rico for fucking for coffee? Did you? Number one, I can buy Bacardi rum like in any fucking cheap ass.
Colombia.
Yeah,
Liquor
if you
store
buy
here.
Bacardi rum, you're a fucking pleb. Like,
yeah,
I get
exactly.
it.
Okay,
I
but I
get
wouldn't
it,
buy
Dirk.
coffee
You're like
there either.
a
I mean,
college
that,
sorority girl.
I think Colombia
Like,
and
oh, my
Venezuela and
first
stuff are
rum,
more
guys.
coffee. But yeah, so
maybe
they,
a Bacardi breezer.
they sold a bunch of bonds to build up their tourist infrastructure. But now all of a sudden, like with the big market crash and all that stuff that happened.
Oh my
they
god!
got
Okay,
in such bad.
we're not going back to Puerto Rico. We're not
Oh,
going back to Puerto Rico.
God.
Burn Jita.
Okay.
But did it
Virginia.
burn?
Oh.
Yeah, close to
Yeah,
800
well,
billion.
hold on. It burned. I think. I don't think that this year was a record-setting score. But 700 plus billion ISK, I think, is a good burn Jita. I think that burn Jita did what it is ultimately supposed to do. Number one, make money for the people who decide when it's going to happen, and be able to cash in on the bets they made, knowing when it was going to happen. And then also be a public service announcement for, guess what? Their, non-consensual, constant affirmation PvP is one of the things that happens in EVE Online, as well as you should listen to shows like this or like read things or whatever, when they give you warnings about when this kind of stuff happens, rather than just be a fucking social casual. Not a casual player, but a social casual who does not participate in any of that and is therefore uninformed about all of the things regarding EVE Online, and it makes your freighter die.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, everyone's like, high sec. I mean, yeah, you have code and stuff that do stuff to miners, but no one expects just random freighter, especially if they're like empty freighters. Like they'll kill empty freighters and shit, and like people like jump in there, just jump into Jita to pick stuff up, and then they die, and they're like, what the fuck? My freighter's empty. Why the hell is there all these people here? Well, you would have known.
That's right. You would have. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, we sat there and announced that Burn Jita was happening like
3 weeks, I think, before.
It was definitely a couple weeks in advance and shit like that. And
we
there were
gave
other
them
people.
advance last week.
And there were other people out there that were talking about it, like, you know, happening. What we know is this, okay? The people that listen to this show and they listen to other shows, and they're also the ones that read articles, and they're also the ones that read Reddit and stuff. They're like the 1% of Eve, okay? The 1% of the informed of Eve, all right? The other 99% just fucking die on the gate. That's just the way it happens. It doesn't fucking matter what the subject is, whether it's Burn Jita, whether it's like, you know, set your default timers on your fucking structures, whether it's any of that stuff, whether, you know, whether it's a change coming to your fucking ship, none of that stuff fucking matters. They don't pay attention, they don't listen, and they don't get their people elected to the Council of Stellar Management.
Right.
Hey, Dirk.
It's all the same fucking thing. If you're uninformed and unconnected, that's what happens.
Dirk, are you going to announce the fact that you're running this year?
Am not fucking running, just like I've
fucking
said.
Why not,
never
Dirk?
fucking running because I'm fucking bigger than they are.
I was
You're
gonna
bigger
make
than
a
that. You're saying you're bigger than someone like the judge?
I was gonna make a campaign video for you.
All right, now, see, you threw the judge out there as fucking bait for me or something like that. Okay. Like
I
honestly.
like hating on people. Okay.
No,
it's easy.
Look, I believe that people that are in the positions that we are in terms of like communicators and stuff like that, okay, are better off being communicators. All right, we're not necessarily. I would be fucking horrible on the CSM. There are way better people out there who know way more of the fucking details of things like that can be talking to developers.
Who are CSM 13 candidates do you support then?
I don't think that we've gotten to the point where the CSM 13 candidates have really gotten fucking out there.
Applications are taken on March 19th and March 23, so we gotta be aware.
Well, the question is, have they posted on the forums? Have they, like, gone through the fucking steps and things like that to be able to, like, you know, let the rest of us know who is actually running? I'm going to tell you this year we're going to have a lower number of people that run than last year, okay? You know, in previous years. You know, because of the way that like shit's happened and like you know tightening up, and also that I think the fact of people that recognize that look, if you don't have a legitimate number, and a legitimate number is somewhere north of fucking 800 to 1,000 to 1,200 fucking number one votes, you literally don't have a fucking shot in hell.
Yep. Well, it's basically all the big organizations, and it's not just. Everyone's like, oh, it's goons. It's not just goons. It's PL. It's also like there's, does LoSec have any kind of like big organization structure to get their guys in? I know that there's some LoSec guys that got in, but like
LoSec could. Well,
because they have
the old LoSec could.
They're like an actual organization.
This is the problem that we deal with, and this is the problem that we deal with in an EVE where like kind of LoSec is probably even more fragmented than it is today. Look, if all of faction warfare, okay, banded together to say we want a representative, so that's faction warfare, you know, across all fucking factions and all that. We just want somebody on there that can speak to fucking faction war, and even that doesn't necessarily fucking matter unless CCP is willing to tackle fucking faction warfare, right? You may have a guy on there who's just fucking silent for a whole goddamn year because they're not ready for it.
And I think we've experienced that in the past with Sugar Kyle, with Gorski, with a lot of other CSM candidates where they were there for faction warfare, but we saw absolutely zero faction warfare updates, let alone absolutely zero faction warfare mentions.
I think there was
actually
during Sugar Kyle's reign a change to faction warfare. And I can't. Sugar Kyle was actually at the time that she was on, I think, a faction warfare / LoSec.
She was a faction warfare candidate.
I'm sorry,
but
faction warfare LoSec. Candidate at the time.
I thought she was LoSec.
I thought she was high sec.
The point is that if you are going to fucking run, you've got to be able to have a sufficient number of. You're going to have something like 2,000 plus total fucking votes, right? And if a good grand of those are not number one votes, you got no fucking chance. And my numbers are fucking low, but if you're not even in those fucking ballparks at all, if you and your 10 friends think that you would, if me and the fucking 144 people out there right now were the ones that thought that fucking Dirk would be good, that would not be a fucking enough. It would not
No.
even remotely be enough.
No, and it was funny
If
'cause-
everybody in your corp thought that you should run, not enough. You're the coolest, fucking brainiest dude they know. Not enough.
No, you need a lot more backing than that. But it was kind of funny with the whole post. When they were saying like, "Oh, get your applications in." They're like, "Oh, we have this, and it's democratically elected by the player base, so that no one group has a louder voice than any of the others." It's like, yeah, that's the ideal, but that's not how it plays out in practice because nullsec always is overrepresented on the CSM, even though it's the smallest percentage of player base. Zulu.
Zulu.
Zooey.
Zulu.
Zooey.
Zulu. Zulu. Drayden.
Kazoo.
No, thanks for the sub, man.
No, sorry, Tizoo. Thank you for the sub, man.
But yeah, thanks
So
for
you
the sub.
don't pronounce the T.
for my
The
corp,
T
dude.
is silent. Are we doing
Zulu.
shots?
Sure, why not? But yeah, so I mean, nullsec is always the smallest player base in the game. Well, I don't know. Wormholes might be smaller than that, but
No.
But
Well,
the
wormholes
that
are
has
definitely fucking smaller
representative,
than
though,
nullsec.
You know?
But
So
it has
but
a
here's
large
the,
representation.
here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. People in nullsec, okay? The people in
Shots
I
to
don't
Zulu.
just say every fucking nullsec person, but the people in nullsec who tend to run, okay, also have their fingers out in other places. All right, they came from highsec. If you had somebody who was purely highsec, I'm not necessarily sure that they would be able to have the perspective, okay, of one of these more senior people out in fucking nullsec and things like that. So just because everything might be totally geared towards fucking nullsec doesn't mean that they don't have an understanding of how highsec works or what the fuck is broke there. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if you ask every fucking nullsec representative what they think about, I don't know, something like war decks, every one of them will tell you that they think it's fucking broken and needs to be fixed, right? So it's not a matter of no representation just because you don't have a highsec fucking representative on there. But it's more along the lines of, some of the fucking like finer details and things like that. What we've found though is that it doesn't matter if you have a highsec representative if CCP over the course of the next 12 months has no willingness whatsoever to be able to speak to highsec. If their dev plan has nothing to do with fucking highsec over the next 12 months, you're
The CSM's
basically
not
going to be
bringing that
spinning
in.
your wheels and hoping that your time is spent for setting them up for something out in the future.
Well, right. I mean, it was like with the whole Citadel release and stuff. I guarantee if highsec came out and said they tried to bring some giant feature into highsec, they're like, no, we're designing Citadels right now. Sorry, but that's our plan and that's what we're dealing with. So
Dead
highsec
Meat
or not.
Zukolik asks, isn't there a highsec CSM now? There is quasi a highsec CSM
Steve
now
Rnukin.
in Steve Rnukin. Okay, I still consider him a third party developer CSM who has some roots in highsec. That being said, my understanding is he is not running this year. I have also been told by Mike Azariah that he's not coming back to run again this year. That means that whoever runs and claims sort of a highsec banner is not going to have any kind of fucking name recognition whatsoever. So I'm going to say that this year is probably going to be an even worse year for overall highsec altogether.
Well, no, here's the thing. Old Mecha was saying, if you believe CSM should represent many areas of EVE, then why don't you get your null mega empires endorsing the best faction warfare candidate they think there is? And you have the organization. And so basically they're saying that, why don't
like
the
that.
nullsec empires get the people they think are best representing the other regions in the CSM? Probably because nullsec is like, we don't live there, and so we're not going to use our effort and our organization to get them represented because we don't live there. They should do it themselves. It's kind of like if you want to help yourself, you got to help yourself type of thing.
Nullsec can endorse things. Okay, what I'll tell you is this. All right, that in order for you to get elected, okay, so let's look at the Imperium. Let's look at the Imperium in general. Okay,
They just do voter block.
well, that's fine. Okay, but even the Imperium in general, okay, has a hard time getting two people on. Okay,
A hard
If
time
they-
getting two people on? Because I thought both Aerith and Nominate were there no matter what.
Aerith and Nominate were lock-ins. Okay, everything else that trickled after that was only helpful to what those other candidates were able to do for themselves. Okay, if what you were to have, okay, and this is the way the single transferable vote system works, the more total votes you have in the system, okay, the more votes that need to come in for, to get people elected, right? If the total Imperium votes were to remain the same, okay, but all votes everywhere else were to go up, it would take even more to get those 2 candidates from the Imperium on, all right? They don't have a whole lot of trickle-down power, even within the Imperium. Just like wormholes. I've sat there and I've seen a couple different candidates coming out of wormholes that I know would be better off working together than they are working apart. And it may be that in some way or another, because I haven't yet heard their fucking plan or anything, that they are working together. But like Noobmad's not running this year, right? But Fotis Latro is running. And then Izuki is also running. Fotis is actually the head of Hard Knocks, okay?
I thought it started with an A, right? Not Aerith, but another guy.
No, well, Aerith.
Who's the CEO of Hard Knocks?
I don't know the exact
I
name.
remember he was on the show. It wasn't
Noobman?
Noobman. It was
Fotis.
no.
Well, no,
It was
no.
another guy. Izuki's in charge of scaring wormhole people. He will more than likely be at FanFest
Right.
if I
So if
remember
what
correctly.
you have is something along the lines of Izuki is running, and Fotis is running, right? Depending on how their organizations do their votes. If they want a wormhole to run, wormholes cannot get more than 1. So they better figure out that they can work together just based on the fucking raw numbers and the likelihood of actual voters and things like that. They can't get more than 1. So they've got to figure that kind of shit out. Something like the Imperium cannot get more than 2. Okay? Not without a different form of voting from a bunch of people in the 3rd, 4th, 5th positions and things like that are on the overall Imperium ballot. There's just not enough to trickle down after the fact, okay? And that's why the largest segment of the game being high-sec, okay, because it is so fragmented and not that it won't get together, it can't get together because they don't know what's happening. They don't know Jita is happening. You think they know a fucking candidate's happening?
I think it's a lot of just disinterest. There's I play the game and do my thing, and I'm not worried about all the
exactly.
They don't care about the
Log in for
political
2 hours
hierarchy.
night,
They don't
go
care about
PvP,
That's right.
run some level 4 missions,
And
log back out.
that doesn't just lead to things like dying and burn Jita. That leads to other things that you don't know are going on, like CSM elections, and maybe who you might get on there to maybe carry your story forward or all that kind of shit.
But is there really a story for high sec? I mean, what would be the narrative
There
for
is.
high sec? But what is it? I mean, you've got PvE, you've got mining, you've
got a whole bunch of stuff.
truckers. That's
You
about it.
you
But
have an
it's so
integrated
fragmented, and
society
those
of
kind
high sec.
Those jobs, there's no cohesiveness unless RVB was probably the most cohesive unit in high sec a long time ago, and they're long gone. So
yeah.
I don't see where high sec can band together over one particular.
But Fotis is Fotis
All right,
is
Asen is in charge of Hard Knocks, by the way.
right.
Okay.
Asen's in charge. Fotis and Noobman are his 2 fucking well, I'm not gonna say it, but yeah.
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan's right. The narrative for high sec is get the fuck out and go to null, and that's
that's not the narrative.
That's for only a handful.
Mostly 90% of Eve is driven by nullsec. We all know that.
But hold on.
High sec people
that comes back to the organizational structure of nullsec. What it takes to organize in nullsec also leads to being able to organize in voting and things like that, right? Whereas highsec is much more fragmented. Yes, you've got all kinds of competing interests down there. You've got competing interests between gankers and fucking miners. You've got competing interests between war deckers and people that just want to do their own fucking thing and not be involved with that. People that call themselves PvPers and the people that say I don't want anything to do with fucking PvP. You've got all of these different market traders and whatnot. And that is why if highsec really wants to get together, it can't though. It can't, not just because of fucking competing interests, but because of the majority of people there are completely unconnected with one another in any way, shape, or form, other than maybe they pass somebody in a fucking gate one day.
Yeah, and also, Thedinko, I think he was saying as a joke, but it's actually a valid point that as far as the Burn Jita stuff, he's saying the large number of people in high sec still don't know why they were getting ganked. They got ganked in Burn Jita, and then they died, and days later they still don't know why that happened. They don't know that it was a big event.
Sadly enough, with that whole burn Jita thing, okay, and we raised the thing before about the guy who sent the thing out on Reddit about I'm going to list all of these people on my fucking kill mail as botters, blah blah blah. That guy's 2 years old. Okay, he's probably old enough to have known that a burn Jita happened at least once during his lifetime in this fucking game, right? But chances are, if it didn't actually happen to him, he had no fucking idea. Oblivious to the fact that PvP happens in this game, and then also once a year for a very short period of time, hell rains down on your favorite perimeter gate.
And a big ball of coercers.
Simply because not connected to the broader informational resources of this game. Probably knows how to run a mission, probably learned something about, don't carry too much in your fucking freighter, too much in your orca or whatever the hell it is, right?
The general day-to-day rules, but they don't know about any special events that put those rules, out the window.
Holy shit, Omelka wall of text. Expecting low-sec wormhole high-sec to elect CSM members is expecting third world countries to be represented in the UN Security Council. Well, number one, the third world countries do in fact get represented in the Security Council, the broader, but not the top 5. Low-sec wormhole high-sec will never have the organization. They just don't, and will never have the infrastructure you have to get votes, and will keep falling back to null empire overrepresentation. So either null voting behavior needs to change, which requires altruism, not gonna fucking happen, that's my words, or the democratic election needs to change, or we're just doomed with null overrepresentation, there's no way around it. Okay, let me say the same thing that I say every year around this time, which is, number one, it's not gonna fucking change, because any change that CCP makes to it, okay, will look like they're trying to put their finger on a scale, all right? They're basically giving the EVE community, the overall EVE community, the vote. But they're not going to district it. Number one, it would be very hard to district it in some way, to say high sec, low sec, null sec, wormholes, that sort of thing, industrialist, because we're in a game where fucking alts, okay, are all over the place. All right. And you can vote for your interests in, they're not going to go through what it would take to actually have to get somebody to represent a particular district. And then before they even vote, have voters sit there and say, I want to be a voter from this district.
So I think no fingerprint for a Twitch Prime sub. Thank you, no fingerprint.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. So what they're going to say is they're going to keep putting the thing out there that basically says we're letting people have the vote. If they're more organized than you are, guess how this is going to fucking work out. If you would like to actually get involved with your fucking game and learn what is going on about it, and I don't know, stop being a fucking 17-year-old high school student that's trying to pass fucking policy and shit like that. Hey. Get out there, get involved, vote. But not just get involved on fucking Twitter and shit like that, actually vote.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, and that's...
Shots?
We say this every fucking year. I mean, literally.
I think we have.
We should record this show and just play it next year for the CSM part of it.
Exactly.
It's the same fucking thing every goddamn year. It's really fucking sad. Last year I tried to get behind.
All right, well, drink, motherfuckers.
Jesus.
I tried to get behind 3 guys that were running last year as part of kind of a high-sec fucking ticket and things like that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because the people that should get behind it, the people that should get behind it, they're not listening. They don't listen to anything. They don't know what anybody is saying because they're ignorant savages.
I'm behind Dirk.
Dirk, we're all behind you, okay?
No.
You just gotta bend over and take it.
I'm going to tell you right now, the people that were elected to last year's CSM, including the judge, including Aerith, including Jin, okay, including all of these people, all right, they don't sit there when CCP says, hey, what about HiSec? And they go, fuck HiSec.
Are you trash talking Jin? Because Jin definitely... Okay.
No, he's saying that when they talk about HiSec, they don't say fuck HiSec. They're saying, let's talk about it.
No, yeah. I know Jin has done plenty of roundtables and plenty of whatever the fuck
No, that's what I'm
get
saying.
Opinions.
These are people that do not sit there. They do not walk in there going, can I please lay my nullsec advantage on the fucking table? And, there's nobody from HiSec here except that Steve guy? Fuck him. Like, they actually think out the fucking topics and things. But if once again, if you get on the CSM and you would like to talk to them about how to rebalance, I don't know, assault cruisers or something like that, right? If CCP doesn't really have that on their agenda and the community is not screaming a fucking storm about it, they're not going to change their agenda. Therefore, they really don't give a shit what good ideas you have for fucking assault cruisers because it's not on their near-term fucking plan.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that's just the way it fucking happens. You could elect somebody based on what their fucking platform is out there on the fucking forums, okay? They can be like, you know what? I want to totally have a fucking reformation when it comes to, you know, whatever, okay? Doesn't fucking matter. They can bring it. CCP doesn't have to listen to it, and it doesn't have to become a priority for them, and it dies on the fucking... You can elect that guy that says death to all cloaky campers, and you know what's gonna... Like, that's his one fucking item, right? I am going to go to the CSM, and I'm going to kill fucking cloaky campers. You know what's going to happen to that guy? He's going to have an egg salad fucking sandwich at the summit.
Yeah.
They don't eat egg salad in Iceland.
Whatever. That's what that guy's gonna fucking get.
Sheep snout.
Maybe he gets a fucking sheep face sandwich, whatever the fuck it is. But his whole fucking term will be spent eating a fucking sandwich.
Maybe if you talk to me and blast him about FanFest in Iceland, maybe we could
why don't we do that?
Knowledge with you. Yeah,
hey,
why don't we do that?
Blast him, you're a legitimate volunteer for like player events like Vegas and FanFest.
Yeah.
What's going on with that? Rain's a pretend volunteer, so we're not going to listen to him?
Sorry, I'm only doing the Eve TV hosting. Sorry for not being a volunteer.
You're going to be like the Jay McClain of Eve TV hosting?
I will be doing Eve TV hosting, so if you guys have Eve stories, send them in. If you want to volunteer, message blast them.
We're going to take those in two different things. However, are all the volunteer slots like filled before we even like mention this?
I will say we have a lot. We have enough to go through, and I think we've got them all slot. I think we're now on a wait list, but that doesn't mean not sign up. There was a forum post by Greg Al. Somebody can grab up the show notes and link the forum post. It was EVE Online. And then we also have a full document that she wrote up with a little bit of help from me to get volunteers and explain what we're going to do this year for FanFest. This is the first time we've done something like this. We've had the volunteers doing EVE Vegas, so you got the players that come in and help with registration, get people where they want to go, herd the cats kind of scenarios. FanFest, I think, is going to be a little bit different. We're not going to be like the forefront because CCP really takes a lot of that initiative and bees out and is with the people, with the players and out front. So you see them. We're going to probably be a lot more behind the scenes, but we'll help set up, we'll help tear down. So really, this was like between Great Gal and myself, this was our own initiative. We wanted to do it. CCP did not come to us and ask for volunteers. We said, hey, do you want volunteers? And we really had to sell them on the idea that this is it. So a lot of the salt that was on the forums, they had no freaking clue. It was not CCP asking for volunteers. It's actually players looking for volunteers that want to help out for this event. So with the mix that we've got that have already applied, it's really cool. We see a lot of people from a lot of different areas of the community. Some people have already said they've been to FanFest for 14 times. So those are kind of the people that we're looking for. If you've been to FanFest a lot, have been to Iceland and can help people out where to go, what to do, that's the encouragement that we're trying to find, and those kind of the people that we're trying to find. So yes, we're full. But we have a wait list, so still apply. There's no need not to apply.
Can I ask how the how the selection process went down? I mean, obviously, look, if this is going to be your first FanFest, chances are you probably weren't considered, right? I mean, they're looking for people who've been there before, know how things happen, that sort of thing, right? Just from a familiarity standpoint.
Yeah. If you're going for the first time for FanFest, our mentality was go enjoy FanFest, go have a good time, because that's what you're there for. You're not here to volunteer. You're not going to do that kind of thing. We wanted people that we're not dissuading anybody that is coming for the first time, but go enjoy it. Go enjoy the roundtables and the discussions and be with the devs. That's the idea. So people have been there 2, 3, 4 times. that's a little bit more of the consideration that we've had. Yeah.
Well, the whole post thing that you were talking about, how people were saying, oh, they fire the community team and then need volunteers. That's got to be one of the most ignorant things said, because what the community team does and what the volunteers for FanFest do are completely fucking separate things.
Hey,
Very
Ray,
separate.
don't tell me we
They
you
have
weren't ready
no
to pour.
correlation whatsoever. So that it's the dumbest statement ever.
Do you want me to pour now?
Yeah.
It's the same as calling the
don't wanna
Jita.
Raise your bottle, girl.
It's the same as calling the Jita gankers bots.
Shots?
Yeah. Seriously, shots. So yeah. I
By the way,
appreciate-
that shot was for the fucking volunteers who go to these things. Out in Vegas this year, every time I walked by the fucking table full of volunteers and shit like that, the same motherfuckers were sitting there working it, were like, helping people out, the people helping them get registered and shit like that. But not just that, even during just normal fucking days, they were there at the fucking, can you help a pod pilot out, type of thing. So in a way, they give up a good portion of the daytime of what it is they're doing, and spent a lot of hours, several hours. Well, several would mean like a little bit more than a few, but
yeah, it all kind of takes on different roles. Like a lot of people sat there and did the button drive, for the Vegas Strong Initiative.
The button drive is really good, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to continue that for FanFest. So expect buttons to be made with your avatar, corp logo, whatever the case may be. So that's still being held over and carried into FanFest, which we thought was a wonderful and a great fundraising idea. But it manifests by the personality and the player that like I enjoyed just.
CCP manifest.
And yeah, boy.
Oh, no.
See?
Anyway, there it is.
No, we need to do another shot.
To bring him up. Damn.
We spoke a name from the dead.
Yeah.
Just finish it whenever you got to.
So my man manifest.
Seriously,
Conrad.
like I enjoyed doing like the PvP areas and the demos. Some people like just being out in the on the table and talking and doing registration. So and there's a couple people that just love doing the Eve store. So it really kind of takes on a life of its own when you volunteer. So you kind of find a niche.
Are my eyes fucking up, or did Drayden get a little
No, it was
cloudy
fine.
there?
Yeah, Drayden.
It was perfect.
Oh, it's
So
probably,
anyway,
Dude,
that's enough
do you have
volunteering.
fucking focus on your cam or what?
it's set to autofocus. It probably is me moving.
Don't
too
put
quick.
your penis up in front of the camera, and and then
Drayden,
have it
Drayden, put your
focused the
penis-
wrong way.
It's got to be
Put your
censored.
penis.
If we could get on camera from from there, I got nothing to worry about.
That being said, for future things like let's say Eve Vegas, or some of those lesser events like FanFest or Eve Down Under
Excuse
or
me,
whatever.
Dirk. Lesser events? I'm sorry that you don't get to
Shade.
get the European
Triggered.
fucking adventure that some of the rest of us do, but it is absolutely
No,
amazing.
I'm all cool
Well,
with the
you-
European
Yo,
adventure.
cool. Oh, I
I'm
gotta go to
talking about
Vegas and
lesser
hit on
events in
Go-Go
terms of
Girls,
number
go to
of
strip
players who
club.
attend these things.
Wait,
okay?
is
You
So,
Iceland
like,
won't
Europe?
go to FanFest, Dirk.
Amsterdam and FanFest
Europe, half
and Eve
American.
Down Under and whatnot. But
It
like,
is-
let's say you were going to Eve Vegas and you wanted to be a volunteer because you were going to be up early in the morning and wanted to do some fucking effort during the day and things like that. Is this something that I don't know, requires, not requires, forget what it fucking requires. They'll learn that later. Does this get you like a ticket into the event?
Yes. If you volunteer, you get...
If you weren't working out at the table in front of the event?
I got a dip.
If you're a volunteer for the event,
Nice.
you get
Whoa, you got a dip?
FanFest.
You got
Whoa.
a dip? You
Dip.
I got a
sitting
dip.
out?
I got to
You
go
got
to
dip?
You
Toronto.
stay for the whole show? Like,
I
are
gotta
you
go to
kidding
Toronto
me?
now, dude. I gotta
You
leave
go
right
to
now for
Toronto.
Toronto.
You dip, I dip,
Toronto.
we dip.
Damn.
Everybody goes to fucking Toronto.
I'm going
Yeah,
for the
Toronto's
Eve. You'll
for
see pictures
losing.
on Reddit, I'm sure.
Oh, that's right. The Eve fucking meet. Yeah.
Are you
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
post
right.
videos and selfies or?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
usually
is
a
that-
lot of
is that
stuff, I'm
tomorrow?
sure. It's tomorrow at like 12:30. You knew that, right?
Elo. Fucking Canes, bro. Canes.
Yeah.
Canes.
That's,
Wait.
that'll be slick.
Canes.
Wait, you asked me what?
Elo
Are you
should be
going,
the guy
Drayden?
that goes out there and gets
No,
little
no,
tiny mercenary no shit fucking groups to shoot canes at people.
Yeah, man.
They'll die, but whatever.
No,
We'll still sell
I'd like to
canes.
go,
It's gonna
but
be good,
I
dude.
thought you
No,
guys
I-
were flying Oscar.
I live in
Navy
Idaho.
this
I'm-
year.
We fly everything.
I'm like
Yo, I
1,500
can
miles.
If you
Duncan
drive
Oscar
now, you should
Navy?
be able to get there. Like, just drive now. Just leave two with me.
Just drive.
We'll go.
No,
like 12 hours.
if I,
Drive 12 hours.
heard. I was like,
Drain. If you want to come by and pick me up, like I'll be the
if I left right now and drove nonstop, I might get there Sunday
Yeah, for
at
2
All right,
days.
all
2
right.
a.m.
2 days.
Pick me up, and I will help you. Okay.
All right, I'll see you guys. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah,
See you,
thanks for
Dirk.
coming.
Take care.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's
Thanks,
like
Dirk just like went off and like
Yeah.
sat down or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
see, man. Yeah, without.
So, yeah,
oh shit! I gotta fix the camera.
Bro, I was
You fix
fucking
the cam.
pissing. Don't
You
even
gotta do- you
fucking
gotta
call
do
me.
the-
I was fucking
Cedar.
pissing. I was fleet bottling it like I normally fucking do.
Fleet
This
bottle.
fucking beer and shit,
Oh
like
my
it fucking
God.
kills me.
No, straight.
I don't
drive,
have a young bladder anymore.
no sleep. It'd be like a 1.5 day drive to Toronto. With sleep, it'd be like a 3-day drive probably.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So FanFest, you get volunteer. You get a ticket to the event. You also get the pub crawl. And I think
Well, you
that's
get
it.
the pub crawl too.
The charity dinner, right?
No,
As
you
a
don't get the
volunteer?
charity dinner. For
You
a
get the
volunteer, you get the pub crawl and the FanFest.
Wait
ticket.
a second.
But
You know what? As a contributor to the Eve Media, as well as a fucking pass to like other things, I didn't even get the fucking pub crawl out in Vegas.
you didn't get the Friday
They're like-
night yet?
No, I had to pay for the fucking pub crawl separately out in fucking Vegas.
Oh, there might
You know
be
what?
different.
No,
there
I
might
wasn't.
be-
I wasn't there as a volunteer, and I will say that you know what? Look, I
Well,
don't
it
volunteer
depends
my
on
time
what-
for this.
depends on
CCP
what
pays
media.
me to be a fucking host for a fucking crazy
Right.
ass fucking show. Okay, but what the fuck?
Yeah, I
What?
think you just got.
I don't know.
Yeah, you got.
I
You got a guest
No,
pass. but
no,
now
no,
there's
no, no.
difference. But
Like
if I
in Vegas,
volunteer-
they don't give away fucking pub crawl tickets like that because we actually consider our pub crawl or whatever the pub thing is they're going to fucking do that year to be sacred, and if you actually want it, you'll actually pay for it. As opposed to what I hear that Vegas is, where it's they'll just hand it out to volunteers.
Just hand it out.
I'm okay with
Go,
them
go,
giving it
go.
to the volunteers though. Because basically,
Well, you know what? It's come on.
Think about how much time.
When
last
you walk
year,
into the next morning, Drayden, and you look at those people and you say, I know you're a volunteer, but and then you look at soup kitchen volunteers and things like that, and you say, it's the same person, right? I mean,
no, because I was hanging out with Roannon, who was helping. I was hanging out with Fishbone was helping, and
Fishbone.
Blastum, and all those guys. And it's I saw that it's
do you think they deserve to be out at a pub crawl?
the entire time we're down there chilling with everybody, having fun down at it wasn't the Heart Bar this year. It was the 157. What was it? No, that's
Wait,
That's
what the
Sublime.
fuck was the 157?
no the one. I've seen a
Where'd that come from?
187
Is that
like
the club I
187
didn't go
on
to
a
with?
motherfucking cop.
Go to with you.
No, what was the bar down? 357 or something or.
Oh, god damn it.
No, I don't think it was the 357.
Anyway,
wasn't
the
Was it the 223?
it might have been the 508. I don't know, but
It was it.
anyway, the bar down in the fucking lobby. Anyway, so we're all down there hanging out, having fun, talking. They're up there stuffing thousands of fucking swag bags. They're getting
And
nameless
I
set up.
texted-
They're getting tables all. They're working.
When you
When we're having
sign
fun.
up
And
to
I
be an
text down to
indentured
Drayden,
service,
I'm like, Drayden, pick
when
me
you
up food.
sign up for indentured servitude to CCP at eVegas or FanFest, look, the next couple years of your fucking life are going to roll on where you're picking tobacco. That's just how it happens. Yeah, I mean, it's look, we have to thank them for their sacrifice, okay? But the rest of us should just go on like you can't even flip them a quarter because Hilmar would be there going, bam, I got it.
Bat that shit away.
No skin sale for you. Anyways, all right,
Servitude.
shit.
Yeah, so cool. I appreciate everybody.
I do,
And when
although what you guys did out there, you, Roanna, fucking Fish, the rest of the fucking guys out there, at Vegas the last time I saw, honestly, you guys were working fucking hours way beyond. You had sign up, right? Sign up fucking ended, right? These guys were still fucking holding on for those late people coming in. It was fucking outstanding work that you guys fucking did out there. It is fucking effort. You get a fucking free ticket for this shit because you put in a bunch of fucking effort. So if you think you're just gonna I don't know what, get elected to the CSM and get a free fucking eVegas or FanFest fucking ticket or whatever, it's believe me, that is not the thing you want to fucking bank for
No.
if you're a volunteer.
The
You are
35-35.
actually putting in an effort.
35. I knew it was a fucking number. I was just doing 3 digits instead of 4.
35.
Yeah, thanks,
Yep.
Ro.
You should have just said
Ro, but
like
Cork is
35.
gone.
They would have gone with the 223 and the 556 and whatnot. But
Yeah.
but like 35. I haven't heard of that, but whatever.
That was the bar we were
35.
Yeah,
That's
I will
bar,
honestly
yeah.
say it
Yeah.
was those 3 days, 4 days was probably the hardest work I did, and the most rewarding. It is an absolutely great.
It was
time.
the
You
most
meet-
rewarding.
It really is. on
See,
the terms-
now you've made
because I
me
get to meet
extend this
everybody.
segment into what is legitimately rewarding in life.
It's really gave it a lot of meaning to see so many people and help them out in ways you never thought you could, and just by doing something for the betterment of the Eve community.
You didn't carry
that's
my
why I
bags
do
to
it.
my fucking room. I mean, like,
Well, you know what? I did some shit that I didn't.
we
think
should
I would
get
do.
more Eve. Hold on. What if we had more
We don't-
fucking
no,
Eve Player
no.
Fest, like,
No
volunteers?
bellboys.
But they would also
bellboys.
sit there and carry my bags to my
Fuck
room.
off,
No.
No bellboys.
All
Fuck
right.
you.
That's all I got. Thank you. That was my long segment, and we're 5
So,
weeks
Rain,
away
you
from
had a
Fun
thing
Fest.
about how you're going to be on
Eve TV?
Eve Twitch with
So,
people.
myself, Bjorn B, Zarvox, and Manic Velocity are all being Eve TV hosts, and CCP. I'm so sorry. CCP is asking if you have a story to tell, because this is honestly all about the players. So if you have a story to tell, you want to talk about something amazing happened in Eve and you're a part of it, feel free to reach out to us to let us know, and we will invite you on to talk. We're gonna be doing a lot of so it's similar to 1-a-day vitamins. Dirk, are you old?
Hell
Why are you
yeah.
taking those?
Dude.
But this is all about so between presentations for FanFest, you have opening ceremony, keynote, etc. We're gonna be doing, I guess the 4 of us are gonna be doing a lot of the in between stuff. So if you have interviews of oh hey, I want to talk about my adventures as an FC, or my adventures as a miner or an industrialist, or I ran this big event, or I was a part of this scam, we are looking for those types of stories to help present to Eve. Because this is Eve's 15th anniversary. It's all about the players. It's not really about CCP. As much as we'd love to talk about the stuff CCP is talking about, this is all about the players. And that's what we really want to focus on. So if you guys have stuff, either reach out to me, reach out to Manic, reach out to Bjorn, reach out to Zarvox, or email CCP. We really want to hear your stories, especially if you're going to FanFest and anything like
I mean,
that.
especially, shouldn't it be more along the
Wait.
lines of even if you're not going to FanFest?
We're-
I
Well,
don't know
if
if you
it-
called it
so-
out. Wait,
Don't you wanna
hold
hear
on. I don't
my
know if you called
story?
it out.
If you're
Wait.
not going to
Oh.
FanFest, you can post an advertisement to kind of talk about that too, or maybe you could send us something that we
That's
could
only
talk about
15
and maybe find.
seconds.
I mean, we might be able to make exceptions, or you could send us something that we ourselves could talk about. I could say, hey, you guys, I'm a part of Open Comms, and for Open Comms, we did XYZ throughout the history, even though, I've only technically been on Open Comms for 1 or 2 years. We could do something like that.
You've been here for,
I don't know
like,
if
more
it's been
than
shouted
1 year,
out, but
but-
Whimsical 2 months resubbed.
Oh,
Thank you,
no, I
Whimsical.
didn't see
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I figured you were
Fuck
going
you,
to-
Wim, with your goddamn 2-month resub.
Yeah, thanks, Wim.
Why don't you pay 12 months in advance?
Now, hold on. I have to ask you, Dirk, did you drink vitamin? Was that liquid?
Well, I took 1 vitamin, but I made it look like a shot.
I was gonna say you drank.
It was a
and
men's
then
vitamin.
You
though,
did a
so, I
swish.
still
I
have
was
my
like,
nuts.
I was gonna say I know they make the hard vitamins for men that are still able
No,
to
I just
handle
swallowed
stuff.
it down, then
Then they
did a
make the
shot with
chewy
it.
vitamins for
Who
really
does
old
a
men
fucking Geritol man's vitamin with a shot? Only I do.
but I was like, man, maybe they make liquid vitamins for men with no teeth.
Well, probably. They make all the things. Look, believe me, if you can't do something, they'll make it so you can.
Yeah. The next step is suppository vitamins.
However,
Hey now.
Rain, how is the whole fucking Eve TV thing? Do you know, as of right now, how is that going to work out there in terms of streaming or,
Yeah.
is Mimic going to be on it? Is her hair still not long or short?
I mean, I don't know about Mimic's hair, but definitely, so it's going to be focused on the host. So, CCP likes to focus on the player host, but there's definitely going to be CCP support. So it's not just exclusively, myself, Manic, Zarvox, Bjornby. It's going to be, us plus, Guard, CCP Antiquarian, CCP Tara. A lot of these names, CCP Mimic, that you may have seen in the past. And then, additionally, we're going to, kind of be hey, we've heard this XYZ about the players. Let's bring the players in and talk to them. A lot of what in the past has been kind of candid conversations. with players about certain topics, but this time around it's more focused on what have players done in EVE and what can we focus on to give credit to the players. Dirk, are you okay? You're like Vape Nation or something?
I can smoke a whole fucking I can smoke all kinds of cigarettes all night. That first fucking hit off a fucking V, it just kills me.
V.
It's like, what
Are
up?
you okay? Are you
Just
okay?
taking V.
no.
No, I'm good. I'm not gonna fucking die. But I saw Wim out there going Dirk has resorted to just drinking vape juice now.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh yeah, my fucking vape's over there. What up?
Yeah, so if you guys have conversations that you want to talk with EVE players, you're for me, it's like me and Blossom are gonna be there, so it's like we can talk about open comms, we can talk about volunteering at CCP events, it's some of those things, those stories that don't really get told in the grand scheme of EVE, and it's this year they're really, really, really focusing on about the players. What do players have to tell? Where have they been? What have they been doing? And what stories can they tell? That's what CCP really wants to focus on. It's not in past FanFest, it's been about okay, what update is CCP pushing? What changes are CCP pushing? What over the years, what have CCP been doing? But now it's literally all about the players, and that's what our focus is. Us as hosts, being kind of player hosts, is all about what have the players done. Let's focus on the players. Let's focus on what people have done, because honestly, in the grand scheme of things, it's all about the players.
You fucking ganked somebody on a high sec 8. Wouldn't that be?
Yeah, Dirk.
Wait, hold on.
It's all about
this
the
is
players.
not about
Come
what
on.
they're doing. It's about what we're doing, and that is one of the things that we all have to consider. But what actually are we doing? You guys should have Rain, since you're going to be doing it, you should have a segment. But what actually are we doing?
Well, hold on.
No, I considered talking to Blossom about volunteers at EVE events, because this year it's very obvious that him and Greygal and a lot of the other EVE volunteers want to step up and really help out CCP. So it's well, why not talk about that? It's people who don't get to go to these events and can see that. I see it at EVE Vegas, I see it at FanFest, but players back home don't get to see that. They don't realize how much players really help out at these events.
Well, I was going to say, are the stories, do they have to be in-game related or EVE related? Because I would almost think it'd be fun to have a story section that people come and tell story, I was out late after the party last night, met these girls, we went to Denny's, came back to my room, those kind of stories.
See, those are the things. Exactly, Drayden. That's how it should be. That's how it should be portrayed
that's
out
the stories
to a Twitch
I want to hear.
That is not there and is not a part of EVE. It should be about how, you know what? I went to fucking EVE Vegas and me and some hookers did this, and all of a sudden but it should be respun in a thing where they can put it out there as sort of a video where it's look, if you play EVE, eventually you and some hookers will meet in a room.
You could add in EVE terminology, we went back to my Citadel and I gave them a skill injector or something like that.
Was it a mini skill injector?
Yeah,
Mini or
it was only 5,000 skill points. It was but I can only do so much.
Just saying, it's let's be honest here, right?
Oh my god.
There are other games out there where you may be sitting there shooting people in the fucking forehead and stuff like that. That's not what fucking EVE is. But you may come to a fucking player event with EVE and Drayden will be walking by with a couple of hot girls and you'll be like, "Hey Drayden, can I come?" And he's like, "Yeah, whatever." These are stories that should be told to other EVE players that are just they're not social yet. They're not there yet, but you're trying to draw them in. You can go mine a rock. You can go jack a rock. But or you can come to one of these events.
Yeah.
That's how it works, Rain. This is how we make this a not niche game.
I guess, yeah.
I think Rain's just scared because now everyone's like that. She's like, now I got to listen to these kind of stories.
Now I gotta listen to these guys.
It's everyone's gonna want to tell me these fucking stories.
No, I love hearing EVE stories. If people have
could
stories
you
to share,
imagine you and Mimic with one of the Vegas hookers, you were interviewing her and being
hold on, Dirk.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I have it out in Vegas.
And I love go-go dancers. So you back off those go-go dancers.
No, not the go-go dancers.
No. If you're gonna sit here and smack talk the go-go dancers or some prostitute,
nope,
me and Mimic are totally gonna support her, and we're gonna
Daniels has got my fucking
slam
vote.
dunk you, Dirk McGurk.
No. what I'm saying is like, what about? And you need to organize this now before fucking FanFest for Vegas, right? What if you and Mimic were to interview one of the hookers that actually works with Eve players out there during fucking Eve Vegas, and talk about
I bet there is
the
one.
services that they provide. Like, they're a third-party developer as well.
Sometimes a fourth party.
What if on fucking Eve TV they were talking about the services that third parties provide to Eve players?
Twitch chat, can you help me out here? Like, I'm kind of like asking for some help.
Blink twice. Yeah,
I think
that's the code. You gotta blink
cool.
twice.
Because it's like, look, we've got a number of things that we use. We use Adderall and shit like that for playing video games and whatnot. But what we need to know is what we do with the fucking downtime. And look, Drayden is a part of the demographic. He's a part of the demographic. We shouldn't overlook him any more than we do a fucking station trader. Okay?
I do things.
I'm gonna make it rain on them again.
It's really
make it
fucking
rain
sad.
on one of the go-go
I've
dancers
walked into
at
his
the
fucking room
5-on-5
and it's really fucking sad. Okay, it's like not quite Somalia sad.
I
It's
made it
kind of
rain.
fucking
You guys
sad,
remember that,
but-
right? When I took the
Yeah.
money and was like,
And that was like
That
before
was-
you like.
I may have been
death-clawed
black.
me.
I may have
Yeah.
been blackout drunk, but it was really fucking glorious.
I tried to dance up on one of those posts and they got mad very quickly.
The monthly
I remember
economic
that.
report came out today for February.
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe that it set a record for delve mining.
Again.
Like, well, it has been down
And
a
another
bit.
one.
Another one.
Another one.
Another
And
one.
another one.
There were a
And
number
another
of
one.
things out there that I think may have been somewhat record-setting. Let me see if I can. Fuck it.
It's kind of one of those records. It's like, it's another record for most mined and delve. People are like, okay. So more people got
Well,
Merkwolves.
it hit like 13.5 trillion ISK worth of fucking whatever got mined in fucking delve. There was
damn.
another three. There was another 3+ out in fucking Aquarius and whatnot that I'm going to. At least half of which, right? Maybe all of it or whatever, is attributive to fucking shit. I didn't even fucking look at Fountain. God, I didn't even fucking look at that. But well, does the initiative mine? I don't think so. But the monthly economic report to me has gotten extremely fucking boring. It is just a bunch of. It used to be that we used to argue about how we should have it on a quarterly basis, and then when it didn't happen on a quarterly basis, we got all fucking upset. And now on a fucking monthly basis, we sit there and go, "Oh shit, these fucking numbers! No, look, how much do you think they were going to change from a month fucking earlier? How much does that fucking granularity fucking tell you about any place in fucking Eve? Like, is this really fucking meaningful?" And I don't want them to cut back on data. Don't get me fucking wrong, all right? But like, what some people out there will make the next monthly fucking report about this aggregate fucking number based on regions. It's like, oh my God, would you please stop pretending you were CNBC?
Why is it CNBC?
You know
Well,
how it is.
because look, I really had high hopes for Fox Business years ago.
Well,
but
I'm just saying, I've always called it NBC. Where's the C come from?
Oh yeah, where does the C
Is it
come
Comcast?
from? I don't know.
Is it Comcast?
No, it's not
company?
Comcast. It's not Commodity. I don't know. It may have some fucking. I actually don't remember. I remember the Financial News Network back in the day, FNN.
Oh yeah, that rings
That
a bell. I
actually
never
made
watched
fucking
it.
sense.
I just don't watch the news. It's all dumb.
Communist.
But anyways, there was
National Broadcasting Station.
Communist NBC. Wouldn't that just be
Communists.
redundant though? That being said, look, there was a lot of activity that took place in what apparently is a region known as Delve.
Saber
I
says
believe
Consumer
that they
News and
were.
Business Channel, CNBC.
Oh.
Thank you.
What was it?
Consumer
C stands
News
for
and
company.
Business
Oh,
Channel.
company. Oh.
Yeah.
Ah.
But
Yeah, I think Consumer News and Business
there was a
Channel sounds
lot
better.
of economic activity that took place down there in that Delve region. I believe that they were number 3 on the list for total production. It may have been number 2 on the list for total production. Shit, now I gotta fucking go through it again.
I find it funny that because like you live in Delve and you're like, Instead of you saying like here down in Delve, you're like down there in that Delve region.
I'm trying to be fucking neutral, bro. I don't fucking play this game from a standpoint of like, yeah, down here where I live, I'm looking at the fucking smokestacks that are flaring. There's a bunch of fucking migrants that are trying to get in through the fucking gate and the block's up.
Pouring too much oil out of the ground, so we just put
No,
a
I mean,
barrel
it's like,
set it on fire.
I'm trying to report this from a high level, like, you know, like I don't actually live there.
But you do.
Well, I do, but like, there was a really big fucking total production value. This was the number where they came up number 2. Total production value of all regions in the fucking game, number 2, Delve. The Forge, less than 1 trillion ISK north of there. I mean, like, just a little more effort, guys. A little more effort, and the Forge goes fucking down. That is really impressive, but I'm going to say this. Whether they do, whether they don't, it's like, look, this shit is fucking boring on a month-to-month. Like, there was one chart in here where they actually, like, tore out the Forge to make everything else look more reasonable on a fucking graph, and therefore it was, like, fucking delved really up high. But, like, honestly, it's getting to the point where you're going to have to tear both of them out to, like, give some fucking granularity to what's happening across the rest of the entire fucking game.
Deadbeat. He's like, is it ironic that a place called Delve is big on mining?
I mean, why not?
It's pretty good.
I'm going to go delve later tonight.
Yeah.
Don't tell me, Rain, you don't want me to delve.
Oh, baby Dirk, I just want you to delve all night.
Can't you just delve all down on
Can't you just delve all night, Dirk? Like, what?
Baby, I could delve all night.
Oh, man, that's going to be a song now. I'm gonna take this recording and find some beats
you know
and
what?
like throw it
We
down.
should never let anybody leave by saying I'm gonna dip, because dip is like 2 years ago. Honestly.
Delve.
I mean, like even like I didn't want to call it earlier, but like you know, dip is kind of an old term. But like we should all be just like I gotta delve.
Yeah, time to delve. Like, you got the dab? What's the delve?
I don't know. We'd have to come up with like a fucking move, right?
Yeah.
What would the delve move be?
We'll have to develop the delve.
We're gonna delve.
We'll have to develop the delve. We'll release it at Vegas this year. We'll do the delve.
Maybe it should just be like a whole like, you know, we'll bring it all down on you. Like the delve is like this.
No, that's like the Oompa Loompa dance.
Like if you come to delve, it's like everything jumps on you all at one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll delve. We'll delve into getting the delving.
But it's like, you know, honestly, it's like
ultra cringy dance.
I know that there are like 12 people in Eve that like fucking jerk the fuck off to like the whole fucking monthly economic report and so. And I'm totally glad that they have the fucking numbers out there. These are things that we should be able to track over time and therefore can see trends. And if they don't put it out monthly, then we don't have monthly granularity and stuff like that. But every month is not a time to fucking comment about it, right? Once we get March, that gives us a fucking quarter to look back on. You know, once we get fucking 12 months worth, that gets us fucking a year to look back on and things like that. Every single month, we know where the economic activity is coming out of in terms of ratting, mining, and fucking like production and shit like that.
Dirk.
Yeah.
We got 12 minutes about that, and while I really want to touch on that...
No, we're not going to spend a whole lot of fucking time on that. I'm just saying.
No, we aren't, but Blossom and I are going to FanFest, and there's Wednesday night karaoke night. What song should we sing to represent Open Comms?
I believe in a thing called love.
Can Ninja get a what?
You should do that one. And make Blossom do the high part. You could be like...
Can I get a what?
You can do the believe in a thing called love, and he'll be like that. Or whatever that part is.
I believe in a thing called love.
Actually,
perfect. You guys are set. You're ready to go.
I'm so sorry, Blossom.
What's that lead? Oh my god! Oh my god! You guys should go up there and do the fucking Lee Greenwood song.
Wait, what's Lee Greenwood?
Proud to be an American.
Proud to be an American.
I thought that was
because
Neil
that
Diamond.
will,
I
that
thought.
will get a bunch of fucking
We're the
roars
place
as
I
well as a bunch
know,
of fucking
I'm
people that want to
free.
kill you.
Wait, isn't that Neil Diamond?
No, it's not
Yeah.
fucking
Coming
Neil
to America
Diamond.
is Neil
Lee
Diamond.
Greenwood wasn't
Dirk,
gay.
What the fuck? You hating on Neil Diamond? Like, who cares if he's gay?
Oh shit! I was
Mogwai
gonna.
song.
I was gonna Google it, and oh.
Neil Diamond.
You remember
Okay.
back when it said,
I'm sorry.
"Are you
Or did
looking for?"
I
Neil
mean that
Diamond
Russian
coming
Barry
to
Manilow?
America.
I was saying, like, you remember back when I was saying, like, Google was asking me if I wanted strappy boots or strappy bras. Well, I clicked on the strappy bras, and I forgot that I had the.
Wait, hold on.
Wait,
More
Google
like
image
Strappy
search.
Boys.
thing. Can you give us
Strappy
the,
boys.
what was Strappy Boys? What does that mean?
It's like when you're a girl and you got a potential of a dick or a strappy boy, you take the strappy boy.
It's a guy.
When you have the
someone said it was
potential of
it's
a
an
dick or a
urban.
strappy
pegging?
boy, you take the strappy
You
No,
boy.
take
no.
the strappy boy, like you just
Well,
gotta show
that's
the
not
boys.
defining a fucking strappy
No,
boy.
no, no,
then.
hold on,
What
hold
the
on.
It's
fuck
a
So-
is a
strappy
so-
boy, Dirk.
someone-
You gotta take the strappy boy.
Wait.
'Cause boys always lie about size, so you gotta take the strappy boy.
Well, no, like someone put, I think the Urban Dictionary definition. It was strappy boy is a dude that is only found attractive by jailbait girls or old women, and they are uncomfortable with that result and not sure if they should take that as like positive praise or not or something like that. Like that was the definition. I think I don't know. That was what he put. I think that was an urban definition. Urban Dictionary definition.
Exactly. What are the skills to like own like corporation?
I think it's Corporation One. But
Corporation
Oh my god.
all right, look, I do want to go on. I want to sit there and say something since we've only got 10 minutes left. I know you guys talked about this last week. At least I think you guys talked about this last week. The whole fucking skins retirement thing.
Yeah, like you gotta.
Did you
buy
guys
the
talk about
skins- Yeah, you gotta buy the skins now. You can't buy them later, boy.
Did you guys talk about it last?
Yeah,
Drayden
fucking Dirk, you
confirm?
buy the skins
Strappy
now.
boys,
Like what? Strappy boys.
Drayden confirm.
Drayden,
confirm.
Strappy boys. We're strappy boying.
Well, hold on.
You guys
Someone
actually
is-
talked about the whole fucking skins thing. Look, this is a bullshit fucking move right now for them to sit there and go.
Oh,
You know
the
what?
retire. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
look,
When
there's
they're
a whole
retiring
bunch of
skins.
fucking skins that are gonna get retired soon. So here, therefore, like, get them while you can. Like, that's a fucking money grab. If you haven't bought these fucking skins, guess what? You know what? The ones that are on the market, just fucking buy them up first. Whatever. But their entire thing about how like they're gonna run skins for 3 months and then discontinue them. That's completely fucking smart on their behalf. Okay. What's dumb on their behalf as a fucking company is when they sit there and say, we're going to have sales when we retire them towards the end of 3 months or after 3 months or whatever, because that will only make people wait until the end to pay Plex for those things. So what you do is run the sale up front, and then everything else is at full price
and then
throughout, and then you cut it off. And then we create rarity in the game, and people will fucking play off that.
Right, and because that's what every other game with skins like he does.
Because then, if you think that's going to be a skin that's in high demand, a bunch of fucking demand will come in at a discounted price, but once demand is proven over the course of time, you will not discount it at the end.
But also,
so reverse that.
You don't discount at the end, but you do mention that it's going away. So then people are like, "Oh shit, I better get it before it's gone." Well, now
they did mention it's going to go away.
Right, I know.
When
but
skins
now,
come in now,
but you don't
into the Plex store 3 months.
Right, you don't put it on sale though. So then when people are like, "Oh shit, I better get it," they're buying it at full price.
Thank you, Whimsical. $10 dono.
Oh shit!
But I just wanted to. Oh, thank you, Wim.
Thank you, shots for Whimsical.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Pour
spin
one out?
Wait, so,
Wim, could you like
something else happened with
Wim, could
skins
you
this
like
week.
hit me on Skype when you're gonna log in and shit? Because like, I need to find a friend in Eve, bro.
Shots.
I need to
Dirk
find
can't
a
find
friend.
a friend.
No friend, Dirk. So
No, seriously, I
some
want
other
to fucking
skins-
rat with you, bro.
Rain. What was the Dami skins? What was up with that?
Oh, the Dami even T skins, right?
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, Fozzie tweeted
So,
out or
yeah,
Discord
yeah.
something.
So Fozzie mentioned in the Even T Discord, which is pretty public, about the winners of the last Even T Championship getting Dominic's, I believe they're called IGC skins, is the best name to put it. And he said,
Foreskins.
I would not call them.
Dominating skins.
I
Oh,
would
I'm
not
sorry.
call them foreskins. They're for the Dominics.
Afskins?
And no. So he made the point of like, oh, I'm not sure like who's taking charge of this. So he was going to figure out who was really taking charge, who was handing out the codes, because like as those skins are handed out, because they're exclusive, they're not like market skins or anything like that. They're given out with codes so that Nash can distribute them to the EVT tournament prize winners. And so he made a comment about like how he was getting involved with that and to make sure everything was being done okay in relation to the March release.
Sweet. Okay. So he's getting it fixed.
Yeah,
Actually,
I was gonna say, yes, he was covering them.
his comments in that particular fucking Discord seemed a little, oh my god, I can't believe that those fucking skins haven't been delivered yet. This is a direct result of cutbacks in our company. I'm going to get on that myself if I have to. Can you please tell me what those skins looked like?
No, he knows what the skin looks like. So when Even T hands them out, I believe they hand them out in codes, so it's not like a physical item that is traded amongst players. It's like a code so that like winners of the Even T championship can just redeem them themselves.
Yeah. It was more along the lines
of it was along that.
Cutbacks in the department that would have fucking dealt with that, because like this was totally on Logi Bro's fucking inbox. It was Logi Bro's inbox, wasn't it?
I liked the end. He's like, can anyone from the administration let me know what else CCP promised so I can get that sorted too.
They promised us a different FOS.
If you're the admin, if you're the EVT admin, that's when you put your hands together and you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Oh man, you know
what did they promise us?
I'm gonna be honest. When I read that fucking Twitch chat today, somebody gave me a fucking glimpse of that fucking Twitch chat today. I'm like, what is this? What is this? What is this? It's like I didn't understand the connection. Like the plus, when I saw +10 down there, it's like I didn't understand that was EVT. The whole fucking EVT thing.
It was on the EVT Discord though. Like, I mean, it's very
I'm not a fucking
obvious
surfer of EVT Discord. What am I? What am I? Somebody trying to find out like what's going on with a fucking tournament next week?
Why not, Dirk? Like, are you gonna?
I'm just saying. However,
I want EVT.
You know, when
fucking
CSN,
Fozzie chimes in and says, we don't know what fucking community's doing because they're totally fucking understaffed, that should be in the understaffed Discord, which 12,000 of us would be in.
Can someone please make like a third-party like EveBet site that's not actually like ISK involved, but that maybe like,
no, because that would be botting, and you get banned because my man Pellegro is coming through with high-tech fucking leg chains.
The ankle bracelets, no.
Ankle bracelets are a fucking thing, and I'm totally, that literally right there was the reason why I totally was so unhappy to miss last week. I wanted to fucking rant all night about the fucking leg chains.
Yeah, the ankle bracelets.
This is how people break rocks with a fucking pick with leg chains on, because you know what? You're just a dirty fucking botter.
Oh man, we have to.
Those should be things that they sell in the fucking store. Can I not get some leg chains too?
Yeah, I'll have to see if Manic will make a leg ball and chain bot gift.
Be so fucking good. Be so good.
I would attempt it myself, but his skills.
But we are 3 minutes out. Do we have? Do we have any fucking like 3 minute fucking shout outs? 1 minute for all of you.
And you get 2?
All right.
What the hell is this?
I'll totally go over. I don't give a shit.
Right,
shout out to Elo Knight for hanging out with us. You guys can go
fucking
ahead.
shout out to Elo.
Yeah, Elo. 2 weeks in a row.
Can we do a fucking? Can we do a shot for the Elo?
Elo.
Even though that bitch stole
Oh,
a
and I
fucking
think it was
bottle
Lieutenant
out
Dan.
in
You know when you
Vegas.
were calling him Elo Presley? Lieutenant Dan's was better.
Ero
Elvis
Presley.
No, Elvis Knight was way better.
Ero Presley. But go ahead.
All right, a shout out.
Was that your one shout out?
Last week, the first funds from the whole GoFundMe and donations for the Vegas Strong started getting handed out to all the victims from the October 1st shooting, the Route 91 festival. So I want to say thank you to the EVE community that donated during Vegas with the button drive and just everything else. All that money started getting distributed to the victims. I just want to say that started happening last week.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, that was
Cool.
Drayden, what you got? Don't look down.
Yeah.
Don't be like, I want to give a shout out to my fucking Chinese food on the floor.
No. I was setting my bottle down. I'll give a shout out to. Man, we covered everything. I'll give a shout out to. Did we?
Honduran refugees.
I'll give a shout out to Puerto Rico for letting us talk about them all night.
Despacito.
I mean, like
All those fucking Honduran Eve players. I'm sorry, Puerto Rican Eve players. Is like, you know what? Drayden's there for you.
Because I'm sure we got it wrong. I guarantee their main export is not
However,
coffee.
because
I
we only
guarantee
have
they're
30
not.
seconds left, I just want to squeeze in the fact I want to thank all the fucking listeners out there, all the fucking viewers. Thank you very much for listening to this show. Because you know what? This was a show that we all walked into tonight going, you know what? It's a bunch of fucking weak-ass Eve news. Like, honestly, shit didn't really happen unless you were in Keskora's fucking wormhole. The fact of the matter is like, this is how we do it on fucking open comms. We can literally, if you give us your $1, like your fucking 10-cent canned shit worth of fucking information, we can talk about it. We can, because we have drinks and talkers.
Yeah, we could do it for. We could take whatever the content.
Yeah,
if you have,
exactly.
We got Elo Knight here earlier. If you want to join Elo and Black Legion and Origin.
Or if you want to go to fucking Black Legion and fucking Origin, or Origin and Black Legion.
Or Drayden or me, like you're gonna.
But it's 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, 400.
Rain, you're so
fucking
hammered.
UTC. We got to turn this shit over to whoever comes up next, which I'm not even sure anybody is coming up next.
Drunk doesn't mean you can't.
Later, bitches.
Later, bitches.
Later, bitches. I'm not gonna fucking like middle finger that shit like
Yeah, I'm
Rain.
gonna finger
Goddamn,
you,
Rain.
fucking Dirk.